Last time, on Asmiliath adventures. After fleeing from their victory over Kododo and surviving their run-in with Novin, the Golden Hearts find themselves in the dark and wild forests of Aether, facing down a decision that Thor must make. Bound and abandoned by her employer, Hypatia sits through another interrogation by her captors, explaining her reasoning for the actions that had taken place. Having mulled over the choices for too long, the rest of the Golden Hearts bring Thor to a decision. Finally, the large warrior raises his hefty sword and separates the elven girl's head from her shoulders. As the party proceed to dig the girl a shallow grave, Thor begins to hear the distant barking of potential pursuers, returning to his companions before they dash away into the night. Mounted and left in the dark, the party struggle through the dense woodlands of the wild lands they find themselves in. I need to reread this. Constantly hearing the reminder of their hunters on their heels. Managing a slow pace, it's clear they cannot simply outrun the hounds behind them, so the party takes cover in an overgrown ruin and devise a plan to mask their scent. With a combination of Jarek's magic and Decker's familiar, a false trail is put in place in the middle of the night, as the party lays hidden. Listening to the slowly growing howls, there is a sense of relief as their pursuers seem to take the bait. Finally managing some rest after the eventful day, Decker is surprised by a small creature on his shoulder. Introducing himself as Abilene, this strange mouse-like creature reveals his much larger companion, Yuanjo, an opposing lizard folk warrior that silently protects his smaller counterpart. Bringing these odd creatures back to the party, it is revealed that Yuanjo had his tongue cut out from his mouth by Chieftain Kododo. Swearing vengeance for this act, Yuanjo is set upon finding the leg he had wielded in hopes of destroying it, having discovered the Golden Hearts in an attempt to find Kododo's killer, the Rainbow Warrior. Unsure who the Rainbow Warrior is, the party explained the futility of seeking out the leg, attempting to persuade the pair to give up on their task and return home. Either unwilling or too simple to understand the danger, the two refuse to turn back and impose themselves on following the party to the Giles border. From there, the Golden Hearts follow a much more adept guide of Yuanjo, maneuvering themselves through the wilderness for several long and arduous days. After a week of travel, Thor still contemplates the morality of his decision, while Jarek watches his struggle from afar. Valoran begins to work tirelessly with the Crown of Memories, focusing on the peculiar red squirrel they had caught surveying the party, and reaching back towards memories in his personal life that might give him insight going forward. Growing more comfortable with his new companions, Decker continues his rough routine, attempting to find comfort in this strange land as they inch closer and closer to home. It is December 29th, as the party finally rests within a day of the border. Some of the uneasy air that had been surrounding them for the past month begins to thin. As bedrolls are spread out and horses lashed to trees, Jarek notices the familiar glow of Carl's head, signaling a message from Croak. So, the party is setting up camp for the night, understanding that Giles is within reach on the next day of traveling. You're all, establishing where you're going to sleep and maybe watches if that's something that you want to do. But Jarek, as you are setting up your campsite for the night, you would notice that Carl has a message.
I assume I would also notice that Carl has a message.
I imagine so, yeah. I mean, you could say that, you're doing something and Carl's on your shoulder. You haven't, noticed it yet, but either way, you two have noticed.
Gotcha. Yeah, Jarek would definitely tap on that as quick as he could to see what's going on over there.
Okay. You just want the message straight, sir?
Yeah, I think he would probably repeat it out loud as he took it.
Okay. The message reads, "Do not travel to Kralin. City taken by illness. Caravan is at Corel. War has been declared. King needs you." If you need me to repeat that, I can repeat that.
Oh my god. Do not travel to Kralin. City under disease. War breaking out?
War has been declared.
Been declared. King needs us. Okay.
Like the king?
Is Thor saying that?
I don't know. Has he said that aloud yet, or is he going to?
He was saying that he was saying it out loud while hearing it. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Like the king, the one that Valorant and I met?
Yeah, I mean, King Hunfor.
Yep.
Yeah, King Hunfor. I mean, I don't think there's any other kings around.
Wait, who are we at war with? Which war are we at? Who has something against us? Is it the Pruids?
I mean, don't worry, but I told you this a long time ago. War is coming. It's got to be prepared.
Oh my God. I swear. I feel like some higher tingle made this happen just for you, JD. Somebody was just like, you know what? JD has taken so many losses in his life that I'll just give him this war. And
Thor, this is a burden.
what you? Well, maybe you should have asked for something better than war.
I didn't ask for anything. I was just given.
You basically asked for it.
Bestowed.
They're bound to know more at Corel.
Well, I mean, it says don't grow to Kralin, so hopefully it hasn't spread to Corel too much. Well, Croak didn't mention that, so I guess no. Valoran, are you done with the crown? Is that something that we can use as a bargaining piece, or do you think we should hold on to that a little longer?
Let's see what we find in Giles, and we can discuss it again.
Fair enough.
Let's find out what the king supposedly needs.
Yeah, and why he needs us specifically.
Decker, I know we weren't planning on being gone terribly long on this, but I think this is going to extend a little outside of our initial scope. Are you going to be okay with your family?
Send a missive to them, and as long as they don't need me, I've got no issue traveling for the time being. Yeah, I say it's not boring being with you lot. I mean, one day I'm in sparring practice, having a rather ordinary time of it, and next thing I know, I'm fighting demons and dealing with wars and kings.
And don't forget half-dead gods.
I'm sorry, what was his name again? That's a joke, Seth. Jarek.
Also, oh yeah, you are dealing with somebody who has like severe split personality disorder where somehow he like shattered into 7 fragments of himself.
I
guess the real question is, what are we planning on doing then?
I think we're planning on making haste to Corel.
Yeah, that's definitely the first thing we do. I wonder if the king is there or if we need to go somewhere else. Did it say the king was there? I can't remember.
No, he didn't say that. But I don't think a king would grace Corel with his, royal presence.
He did it once. He could do it again.
You're thinking of Corel.
Wait,
Thor,
what?
he never visited Corel. It's a shithole. I mean, we barely just got it back on track.
You the mayor of Corel?
I hate that they're so close. I hate it. Anyways, carry on. I'm just gonna stop talking.
But
Thor, it'd be great if you could maybe ride up ahead with our new friends there maybe get a little fresh air.
What does that mean, JD? What do you mean get fresh air?
You know, a fresh breath of perspective. I know how much you enjoy the wilderness and being with Buffy and, finding that connection.
Okay. And you want me to take those two with me?
Just take point.
You're not gonna, like, message them that we're about to kill these people, right? Like, that's not something you would do.
No. But Thor. I don't do that. I don't know why you'd expect that.
I would expect pretty much nothing less.
They seem fine. They haven't tried anything on the road so far.
Okay. I can take them ahead, and we can look out. But that would be in the morning, right? Or do you want me to go now?
Maybe if you could just scout the area a little bit.
It's pretty dark out, and I can't see in the dark, but I'll give it my best shot.
Humor him, Thor. Take a walk.
He always is difficult.
Anyways.
Are you gonna take a walk, Thor, do some scouting?
Yes, I will scout the area, and I will take. I can't remember. Why can't I remember? What do I have so many notes. I will take your Wanjo and Aladdin Spice Tail with me. I got him.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a perception with disadvantage then, sir.
Hey, you got it.
All right. So, Jarek, as you deftly suggest that Thor make his presence scarce, he goes off with your two new companions to scout ahead, leaving you with Decker and Valoran.
Yeah, as soon as he's out of earshot, it would be a matter of like, all right, look, guys. I don't know if you've noticed, Thor's not doing okay.
Is he having moral issues or?
We've been together a while, and I think this whole business between, having to give away the leg, getting through everything by the bare bones of our teeth, and then having to kill a defenseless opponent. I don't think he's doing okay. I think he needs something with some honor behind it. The sooner the better. We can't have him, halfway there whenever things start to get rough.
I don't disagree, but we have to deal with what is before us. We're not exactly picking and choosing right now.
Well, just if you'll happen to see an opportunity to let him get a very victorious blow. Decker, I'm sorry. No offense. Just if we get that opportunity.
Not some sort of glory hound. I mean, yes, absolutely. If there's something we can do to make the big boy feel better, but this is life after all, and it's a hard world. The sooner he learns that, the better, if he hasn't already. He made the right decision.
No, of course.
That's probably more to the point, other than stroking his ego and giving him some sort of false pretenses of glory, like honor. Just
look, I know.
Correct.
I know he's all muscles and giant sword on the outside, but he's very sensitive deep down.
Let's pay more attention to preventing preventing that situation in the first place. Next time there's a prisoner that needs executing, I'll take care of it.
Not qualified.
Easy enough.
So Thor, as you are tromping around in the darkness, immediately hearing conversation taking place as you leave, it is extremely difficult to manage any sort of scouting or sightseeing or anything, but you are tromping around in the dark with Yuanjo and Avalon for, I guess, a couple minutes, however long you decide to be gone, if you had any sort of question or whatnot for them.
Yeah. I assume Buffy's with us, because Buffy is...
Yeah.
We're not, like, near a city or anything.
Mhm.
I guess I would address Albin?
Avalon.
Avalon. Damn. Oh, okay. I gotta switch that. Avalon, do you like my bear? I don't know if I've introduced you to my bear yet.
So Avalon functions basically like standing on the shoulder of Yuanjo, holding onto that strap as they kind of meander next to you through the woodlands. And as you gesture down towards Buffy, the mouse kind of looks down, looks back at you, looks down. He is your weapon, like Yuanjo.
I feel like sometimes I'm more his weapon, which is kind of weird, because he's only like fought with me like once. But yeah, I'm usually the one that kills all the things.
Then he doesn't seem like a good weapon.
Well, maybe he's just not wielded by the right person.
Are you offering Avalon another weapon?
Would you like to try to use Buffy? I've been trying to teach him to obey my commands. It's not going very well. But you can attempt to ride him. It's also a little lower to the ground, so you don't have to, jump off as high.
Your name was Thor, right?
Yes.
Thor, the quickest way to a weapon's heart is little bits of human flesh. Have you tried that?
Human flesh? I don't think I've tried human flesh. I know Buffy likes to eat berries and bugs. Not really much of a people person in that regard.
Try it. Avalon knows these things.
Oh. Well, I guess he did try to kill my dad.
Perhaps feed him your dad.
Funny you say that. I feel like somebody is trying to get him to eat my dad, but I don't know. I kind of have to figure that out. I imagine you don't know anything about some weird red-haired lady who has floating hair and giant red eyes.
No. But she might taste good.
She might. Although I don't know where she is or what she is or who she is. But maybe if we find her and we feed her to Buffy.
I like your thinking.
I like my thinking too. I think the best out of literally anyone here.
We shall scout.
So, we scout.
So, as Thor, you kind of go on your somewhat successful scouting mission. I guess you would return back to the party after some time takes place, all of you kind of gathering back at where you are resting for the night. Is there anything you all want to talk about or whatnot for this night or the next morning and traveling until Giles?
After that unsettling news, Valoran is focused solely on getting to Corral.
Okay.
I would have noticed at this point that they're talking to a stick figure with a gem in it.
Yes, that would have been a little bit odd, sure. Well, actually, Jarek, did you send a message back?
I did not reply. Probably should. Heading to Corral now. What else? Please prepare for arrival. See you in what, about a week?
Yeah, something like that.
No, see you in about a week.
But yes,
Yeah.
Decker, you would witness them talking to a stick figure.
Excuse me, Jarek. What
Yeah.
in the devil are you doing with that thing?
Well, Braun was kind enough to relinquish some enchanted stones. We can send messages through them. So I have this one connected to our prime secretariat over at my town. Help keep us informed, send messages, between loved ones.
Decker's hunting a squirrel. Give him a second. Thor, are you doing
Carl's-
anything? Yeah.
I guess would I come back and hear them talking about this?
I would
this-
imagine that if they heard you coming back, they would hush, but you probably gave them enough time to have, like a 2-minute conversation, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just meant like talking about this specific thing.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I guess you'd be around for this, yeah.
I gotta
Okay.
go downstairs real quick. I'll be back in like 5 minutes.
Okay. Decker's hunting a very hidden squirrel.
It's a red squirrel.
It's a red squirrel with a white stripe.
Yeah.
I
Magically
decided to
poops.
take a shit and runs off the woods.
I guess I would have Coral do this thing to him just while Seth is not or JD isn't explaining that Carl's a living thing. Yeah, I guess I would come back with the two Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Yeah, I don't know why you sent me out there. I can literally see nothing.
No, just using Buffy and talking to Buffy. Buffy can see in the dark, right? I think bears can do that.
I'm not sure about that, but maybe. Either way, how am I supposed to know?
I mean, connection.
What is wrong with you? Are you okay?
Full of thinly veiled concern. Just, of course, there are. Are you okay? Hey, you did a great job, but out there scouting. I know it's hard in the dark, but
Yeah, I'm great. Thanks for asking. Actually, there was one thing I needed to not really talk to you about, but ask you about. And I guess Valorant, you may know. Decker, well, Decker. So, you know how we all were like passing around the crown and everything? Well, one of my chosen destinations was, you remember when we had like those months off and I talked about that cave that I went to where like my parents made me. So, yeah, about that. So when I went back in my memory, there was some weird writing on the wall that I obviously still can't read. I wrote it down to the best of my ability in just fish out probably a crumpled piece of paper. And also, do you know anything about the lady with red eyes and like red floating hair? Any of you? All of you?
Jarek and Valorant, give me a history check. I'm sure we're gonna nail it. Okay. Okay. Jarek, you, in your time as a tavern owner, you come across a vast array of people from different walks of life, and for the most part, you kind of just handed them drinks and ignored them, kind of played, the, oh, how does that make you feel side of the conversation, and some slipped in, and, most of it kind of washed over you. But as Thor is describing this loose individual, and you begin racking your immense brain for some sort of hint towards what that might be, you vaguely remember some story, some song, maybe some passing explanation that you'd gotten from one of your patrons of a spirit of the wilderness that kind of vaguely matches this description.
And she's like, got these scars, like all over her body. Like she's very mangled. But she was just like floating there, behind, on top of, next to Buffy, in the cave.
Thor, what have you been saying recently? That gives me a tingle, but
Did it give you a hand tingle? Did you get hand tinglies?
No, more like, whenever you're trying to remember what something smells like and you can't. But I can't remember anything specific. Valorn, have you ever come across anything?
I'm afraid it doesn't mean anything to me.
Okay, well that was part of the weirdness. But then the other weirdness was that she was muttering something in giant. So maybe she's a giant, I don't know. And she kept saying, kill him? Like over and over again.
Valor, give me another history check real quick. Damn it. Continue.
Well, Thor, it sounds like she was probably telling your mother to kill your father.
Well, see, so like, my first instinct is Buffy just following me to eventually kill me in my sleep at one point? Because Buffy could have done that way, way long ago, when I was passed out in the middle of the snow-capped mountains. Now, my other thing is, obviously I want to kill Kustar, right? So maybe she wants me to kill Kustar, but why would that be? Or maybe she wants me to kill Novin again. Or maybe she wants me to kill Dead. There's a lot of hymns in this world, and she wasn't very specific.
Here, Thor, can I read that paper?
Give me a history with disadvantage, because that's going to go well.
Oh my.
As ever, Thor, you are plagued by that which has plagued us all along. We don't know anything.
I'm trying to figure it out.
We never have enough information.
Yes, Seth?
No, that's a 1.
Oh, I haven't seen it come up, but...
Yeah, I didn't see it come up.
For whatever reason, it didn't, but I got a 1 and a 14, so...
Yep, just pure gibberish, so...
On what I wrote?
Yeah.
What?
And to be clear, it is not either common or infernal.
Nope.
Yeah, Thor, this just looks like chicken scratch.
No, but like...
We'll take a look.
Are you taking a look, Valorant?
Yeah, if they hand it over.
Give me history disadvantage, sir. I believe in you. All right.
No, that was advantage. Hang on.
Well, I'll take
Well-
that 12. I can see both.
Oh yeah, okay.
Odds are even, sir.
Even.
Okay. As the reminder of how little you know about this vast world and how difficult it seems to gain any sort of fucking knowledge about this vast world is rolling over your mind, you're looking at this rather disjointed copy of some odd language that Thor is seemingly seen at some point in his strange life. The cogs begin to turn just a little bit faster. Things start kind of falling into place. And you vaguely remember, like, one time back in your youth when you were moving around folk, learning about what it is to be a lord and the people that you govern and whatnot. Some, serf or underling or peasant that works your land was telling a story about Nakarada, the guardian of nature, who seems to be the spirit, the goddess, the entity that controls beasts. And as you look at this strange symbols and reflect on the story and piece together the small bits that Thor's been telling you, you begin to actually understand who he's referring to, or who he might be referring to.
Valoran hands the paper back and says, yeah, just gibberish. Was that all that you remembered?
I thought I did a good job. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much all that I saw. Also, the cave had like a weird red rock gem. I'm not sure if I remember which one it was, but it was one of the two at like the entrance. Kind of like
Is it
the lady's hair and eyes. Probably scars.
the gem that's in this thing? That
Oh my god. He's back. Hey Decker, how's it going? How was your squirrel hunting?
It was fruitful. Didn't find any squirrels, but in any case, this red gem, is it similar to the one that's in your stick friend?
I don't know, does it look similar?
The messaging stone that you guys use is an emerald. The thing that you're trying to remember or refer to was a maroon-hued boulder above the entrance to the cave.
So not the same.
Gotcha. No, it's not the same.
Or not an emerald,
It'll be-
sapphire, sorry.
It'd be very weird if they were the same, because then that would make more questions than the few answers that we have.
Well, tell us if anything more comes to you.
Yeah, I
Otherwise, perhaps when we get back to folk, you can find this cave again.
Yeah. I mean, it was right by my estate.
Maybe there's more to uncover there.
Maybe. I'm gonna try to interrogate Buffy, see if I can shake the answers out of him.
Okay.
Anyways, just thought you should know.
So anything else for the party before departing up to the Giles border?
Did Decker want to ask about Stickman, Carl?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but so I know that Jarek was right in the middle of answering that when I had to go away.
Mhm.
Jarek had just mentioned that the stone connects to his town, and that was about the only explanation given.
Okay. I probably would have been curious as to where it came from, but we can leave it at that for now.
Alrighty.
The stick. Are you curious about the stick figure or just the stone?
Oh,
Do we want to do the whole, like, we explained to Decker about the friend
Sure,
in the
yeah.
tower and Carl and the
Yeah.
messaging stone?
Yeah, because it's just a rabbit hole that we can't come back from.
Mm-hmm. So, blah, 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 blah. Decker, you are now fully informed, precisely, without any holes.
And thus, Carl.
There you go. So as the party slumber for the night, whether you set up watches and whatnot is kind of thematically up to you. And as the morning finally rises in your hopefully last day in Aether, Yuanjo and Avalon kind of getting you all up, getting ready to trudge the last little bit, the sun rising, the birds chirping, the general cold, cutting, almost fear of Aether. Oh, that rhymes. There you go. That's like a poem or something I'll have to put in there. But begins to lift from you as you get the sense that, like, returning back to civilization, this kind of relieving wave washing over you. But you all travel up to the border of Giles unless there's anything you have to do in this particular morning. Put you guys back on the map.
Can I interrogate Buffy?
In what capacity?
I guess since I don't know what the woman is, I would try to address Buffy as the woman that I saw
Okay.
and be like, who am I supposed to kill, weird lady with all the scars and floating hair?
Give me insight. And then what order are you guys riding in at this point, getting into the border and the actual land of Giles?
Second to last.
All right.
I guess I can be first.
Is there
Why not?
any preparation for Yuanjo and Abilene?
Blanket rolls.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we have like a giant drape or like I don't know what we have on us that could cover that amount of person?
Jared probably had the best idea of like a bedroll or multiple bedrolls potentially.
Sure.
All right.
Then yeah, I guess we'll lend those to Yuanjo as a cape for him, so he doesn't stick out like a sore thumb, even though he will.
Okay. Everyone give me a perception check real quick. Okay. But yes, Thor, going into your... All right. Taking a moment either this morning or last night to kind of set aside with Buffy and attempt to address him as the entity that you had seen. When you try to ask, who am I to kill? Who's him? What does this mean? Buffy just kind of like rests his head into the palm of your hand, like looking for more pets, and that's about all you get.
You're not a very helpful bear, you know that? Yeah, you do. Okay.
So Decker, as the party is moving forward, now actually entering back into civilized country, you're kind of glancing ahead, keeping a general eye out, reflecting on this strange journey that you've been on with this very strange group of individuals. And off in the distance, as you guys are getting out of the thick, dense woodland of Aether and back into plains and fields and a little bit of farmland here and there, you spot a single rider who is wielding, or I guess holding, a black and gold banner that you would quickly recognize as being a banner that would entail that he's either part of the King's Guard or the Royal Army. Black and gold is the general high nobility colors of the Kingdom of Giles. And he seems to be kind of aimlessly riding from like the far west to the east, like back and forth in this small swath of land that you're kind of watching him go over. He hasn't spotted the party yet, but with the giant banner that he is holding, it's clear that he's not being stealthy. He's more or less kind of parading back and forth.
So how far away is he right now?
good distance away. He's probably like 2 miles, like kind of at the limit of your deciphering what is in front of you.
I'd like to send Aurora up just to see if there's anybody else near him, if he's the visible one, maybe somebody.
Give me a perception with advantage.
Would I also see that?
Yes, you would.
Okay.
Oh, look. A royal welcome.
Maybe they're looking for us based on the message.
This is going to be terrible.
So, Decker, as you step into your familiar and try to get a bigger perception of the land, it's hard for you to clearly define what you're seeing, but from the single rider that you kind of focus on first and then expanding your vision out wider, you do see several smaller singular dots kind of repeating, almost patrolling patterns back and forth, slightly removed from the initial rider that you had seen.
I think there's more of them, gentlemen.
So the king's men are combing the wilderness.
Should we go ahead and go say hello?
I think they
Yes,
are.
let's get this over with.
And I think actually Jarek might move to the front of the line,
Okay.
because I think technically he has the most like political authority out of the group in Giles.
Yeah.
So we should probably keep Yawanjo and company to the back.
Yeah, I was assuming that was the plan.
Yeah,
Okay.
we ride.
You all just approaching the single rider that you spotted?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So crossing the distance, it takes, maybe about halfway, about a mile between you two at this point, before you can noticeably perceive that the rider has also caught a glimpse of you. Kind of stops in his tracks. You see him kind of looking from side to side before he also begins basically going right towards you, meeting somewhere near the middle. As you guys are growing closer, kind of looking at him with a new, fresh perspective. He seems to be dressed in rather modest armor, chainmail, gambeson, that kind of thing. He does have a distinct black and gold sash that signifies him as part of the royal army. The banner that he is wielding kind of flapping in the wind, this loud tarping thwomp kind of coming with each gallop of his horse. But he does approach you, and it seems, from what you can tell as he's approaching, that his expression is rather excited.
So just wave over to him.
As he rides up, I imagine you all let him get within speaking distance. He kind of stops the horse, maybe about 20 or 30 feet away from Jarek, who is at the front of the pack, and kind of glances you all over, and you see him kind of peering from one person to the next before he rests his eyes on Jarek. This is the Golden Hearts, correct?
Yes.
These are the Golden Hearts. Is proper grammar, really? We are the Golden Hearts.
Thank you. I am sorry for my grammar.
Go on, sir.
You are seeked for by the king. I don't know how long you guys have been gone or what you know where you are coming from, but we have been spending days out here waiting for your arrival.
We
Yeah.
received word earlier via a message from our village, Corral. So we decided to head back as fast as we could. We were a little sidetracked with, the end of the world. But, yeah, we're on our way back.
Well, I've been told to report back to Captain Fenros whenever I spot you, and I'm going to do just that unless there's any problem with that, gentlemen.
And
I have no issue.
any instructions for us once you found us?
Well, if you're being seeked by the king, I don't quite know the personal reason for it. I just have my orders. bringing you back to Captain Fenris, and
We're being sought by the king. Being sought by the king.
Oh boy.
your renown.
My command of the language is excellent, I know. I'm simply passing it on, good men. We'll do as we're instructed. Thank you for relaying the message.
If you'll follow me, I'll lead you back to Captain Fenris.
Yes, thank you, sir.
As soon as the guy's back is turned, I'm gonna hit him with some detect thoughts.
Okay. So just surface thoughts.
Surface thoughts, yeah, whatever he's thinking about.
Money?
Like making money? Reward?
Surface thoughts?
Pry him deep.
No, because he's gonna know.
You know,
He's gonna
get
feel
into
me
his
inside of
thoughts.
him. Silently, I'll kind of wave to the group, do a little bit of this, and thinking about money.
Okay, most people are.
He's a common soldier. Imagine money's in short supply for him. I'd be thinking of it for him as well.
Well, yeah, I can't help but feel like
He
if
may have found a bonus for being the one to find us.
Well, hopefully this doesn't turn into some shit show where we would get locked up and he's collecting a bounty.
I doubt
Is
it.
there some reason it should? The last time we were here, we saved Kraylin. I think we're going to be alright as far as that score. Why do you have such a guilty conscience?
Because Valorant, sometimes you make decisions and you forget about them and then they come back in unexpected ways. It happens.
Clearly, we need to discuss something, but we'll do it later.
Yeah, I'm really surprised we haven't told you up until this point. Have we? I don't think we have.
I don't have the will to ask right now. And he spurs his force forward.
Very cranky today. And we ride.
So as our unified party is seeked after and led forward, you are brought to what appears to be a small military campsite. There, straight rows of simple A-frame tents. There's kind of a bigger central tent in the middle. There's maybe, you would roughly guess, about 20 or 30 men that would function in this area, but you're brought directly to the tents, into the main one, or I guess at the front of the main one. The soldier that had spotted you and led you here, dismounting and rushing inside, before he eventually turns back around, comes out, kind of bows and goes, "If you all would step inside, please."
Thank you, sir.
I like to insight that.
Okay. Give me an inside check.
Valorant's already walking in.
Okay. Jarek, as far as you are aware, this is just a very excited soldier that seems to be rather tired.
Thank you. Well done, soldier. Thor, after you.
So,
I've already walked in.
yeah, Valorant leading the pack and stepping into the tent. However, behind your companions are. Revealed in front of you is a rather large, spacious area. There is a somewhat rudimentary table set in the center with what you imagine would be a rough map of the southern area of Giles. There appears to be a rather aged and respectable man sat on the other side of the table. He's kind of moving a few pieces around and then checking a few notes and parchments on it. As you come in, he looks up at you and you see kind of a wash of relief on his own features, and he points at you. He goes, "You're Lord Athelvane, correct, sir?"
Correct.
"Thank the fucking gods. You are the Golden Hearts, correct?"
Such as we are.
"I have never in my entire life wanted to see a lord as badly as I have wanted to see you, sir. It is great that you are back.
That remains to be seen. What seems to be the trouble?
I have been given the honorable orders of sitting here like a fucking chump as we're at war, waiting for the heroes, the Golden Hearts, to return. And I've done just that.
At war with whom? We've been in the wilderness for weeks.
Those vibrant and colorful individuals over in Vindsvept had decided it is time to stake their claim on whatever land they think is theirs, so we're currently at war with those fine individuals.
Jarek would break in a panic. What lands?
Well, currently they haven't left their own, but our scouts are reporting that they are within striking distance of the capital, so our king is preparing the defense up there.
You believe they haven't left their own, but by the message we received yesterday, there's a mysterious illness that has struck Kraylin.
Yes, it appears that you heroes were lucky enough to depart Kraylin before the illness set in. I don't have the most up-to-date information, but the city is currently quarantined and kind of a secondary concern now that we are being threatened by war.
And what is this disease? What are they experiencing?
I am not the most up-to-date, but from what I understand and what I've heard from the other men, humans in particular, it seems that the other races have been lucky enough to sustain from this illness, have been getting weak, frail, ill, and then perishing.
It's only in Kraylin.
As far as we can tell, we haven't had reports of it outside of Kraylin, and we've caught it rather early on and have the city surrounded, so no one in and out.
They determine the means of transmission. Is it safe to be around infected people?
We haven't let any of the clean races out, just in case they can pass it along, so currently we are just holding them in place, and perhaps once we have more time or manpower or knowledge, we can establish some system.
And there's no, as far as you know, I guess there's no cure to the ailment. Like, people aren't getting better, they just get weak and die.
My information's rather outdated, so I don't quite know, but I would imagine not.
Gotcha.
But
Well,
anyway,
your information.
my entire order here was to make contact with you and get you up to the king. So, if I can pass that along to you and get you heading in that direction, I can leave this shitty position.
And where's the king right now?
He's up in the capital, sir, as I described.
Oh. Got it.
I see no reason why not.
It's not a good business to keep kings waiting.
That's a good attitude, so I shall mark that our business here is complete and send you all on your way.
Alright, we'll head to Freeside City.
I've also been told to express Giles Kingdom's gratitude towards the heroic endeavors your party has gone through.
Most gracious.
Golden Hearts, have a good trip.
Aye, aye, Captain.
So, as you all depart, which I'm assuming you might be doing at this point, you would see the soldier that had led you this way kind of slipping in as you are leaving, and there's muttering conversation of, "You told me there was going to be a reward. Soldier, I told you no such thing. I told me that," and you kind of leave the conversation there.
CJD. Just thinking about money like most people do.
You know, Thor, I know our most recent betrayal was kind of expected, but it kind of puts you on edge. more importantly, Valorn, I hope your people are okay.
Didn't the message say they were sent to Corel?
Well,
The one
yes,
that you read out loud
Yes.
to me.
However, I don't want them transmitting a disease to my townspeople. I'm hoping
Well,
they're
let's go there
okay.
first and find out.
Corel has been swept by illness. It's a ghost town.
Everyone has socks in their mouths and nobody knows why.
Calliope is just scratched into the Great Hall.
God.
But, so yes, you got, well, what's the current destination? Corel still?
I think so.
Okay.
It's from a certain perspective. It's on the way to, by the
It's-
shortest road to pre-site.
Okay. So yeah, it would be roughly about a week's travel on the main roads and side roads to Corel. This time, not having to be stealthy or whatnot, you can actually set up camp in fires and stop in towns and taverns and things of that nature. But for the sake of keeping the story relatively progressive, we'll more or less kind of hand wave over the week travel. But is there anything particular the party would be doing during that time, discussing, reviewing, asking about in towns, that kind of thing?
I'm still interrogating Buffy.
Okay.
Are we gonna pass through Hogthorn? I imagine we would.
Yeah, I imagine you would.
I don't know. See if there's anything new going through there, like going through any of the towns. Anybody getting sick there?
Okay.
Or just like anything that they've noticed, they've seen. Have they seen somebody matching Novin's description?
Okay.
That would probably be a good thing to ask.
Give me investigation and persuasion.
You want me to do that? Okay.
I mean, you can pawn it off on someone else if you want.
I don't mind to do it.
I have terrible investigation, but my persuasion is +4. But I think JD's is better. Just roll it, dude. Just roll. Valorant, can you ask this guy this thing? JD, hey, go do this.
Ooh. Okay. So we're working with Valorant, go ahead and roll me an investigation too, sir. God, Jesus Christ.
Baby.
Okay, pick a topic.
The mysterious disease.
Okay. So a couple days into your travel, as you're still going up that, I guess, more or less main road that runs south to north along the coast to your west, there's a lot of, small campsites like set up along the road of other travelers going here and there. As you get more towards Slake Point, the town that the Golden Hearts had crawled out of after the double-headed Sam incident, once you move north of that city, you begin to see a buildup of campsites just kind of sat there, seeming to be a bit more permanent than the others. And eventually you realize that the reason that there's a bunch of people just camped along the side of the road is there's a quarantine line that is held in place by the Royal Army, kind of tightly circling the city of Kraylin. You would also eventually notice that there's a small line of light in the water across the bay that you would assume is a ship blockade, also blocking any sort of port or ocean access to the city as well. But at one point during your travels, stopping to make camp for the night, you are, I guess, camped up with one of the long waiting individuals that have been sat here waiting into Kraylin for some time, striking up a conversation with them and more or less just poking them for information. You would learn, I'm going to kind of bulletin point this and you can ask if you want more details on one point or the other. The illness started very soon after you left, potentially like a day or so after your departure from Kraylin, but it's hard to tell the exact date. From what he has heard by talking to the soldiers and people and rumors and whatnot, The illness is more or less, the peasant doesn't know this, but you would connect this in your mind, reflecting the illness that Duke Braun had before his own demise. This frail, paper-thin skin, this shrinking form and figure, just looking overall decrepit and weak, like the soul is being sucked out of him over time, seems to be the similar symptoms that these other individuals are suffering from. And from the rough estimations and numbers and rumors yet again, it sounds like something like half of the human population of Kraylin has already died, passed, strucken by illness, some layer on that spectrum. But that would be kind of the insight you would get, sir.
Do they describe, like, I don't know how much somebody out on the outside would know, but like, do they describe anything to the extent of what we saw in Duke Braun, where he had like basically a giant thing of rebar sticking out of his back? Or...
So they wouldn't describe that, but they would describe like the general aesthetic or appearance of just withering away in a very similar fashion to Duke Braun.
Okay.
Do the sick talk about any hallucinations or nightmares?
Not that he would know. You would, I guess, kind of prying in that direction, learn that screams and wails and strange noises come from the city that the soldiers outside, like quarantining it, can hear, but that's not something that would be unusual to hear from a city struck by plague.
And there's been no, as far as this person knows, no mention of this appearing outside of Kraylin.
No, the kind of story you would gather, just again prying down this particular path, because there is already a focus on the funeral and like some of the army stationed there, and also the fact that the king is more or less in control of Kraylin without Duke Braun or Jarrell being a thing anymore. That there was a very quick response to this because of the, the focus on Kraylin at this point. So, as far as Giles' kingdom is concerned, or this peasant is concerned, or the soldiers, you may ask, it got quarantined rather quickly and has not spread.
So Valorant definitely shares this with any of the party that wasn't already standing there. And says, if only we could execute Hypatia again. This has to be related to the attack at the funeral.
Do you think that this was...
So
do you think that she...
If they knew what you did, they would give you a medal. Probably a nice little villa in the city.
What were you saying, Thor?
I'm just trying to think if she had... I guess she would have had the time between when we first talked and we talked the second time to do something. I don't know what. I don't even know how... We still don't know how Duke Braun got his condition in the first place.
It could have been the monster that we fought itself. Its appearance could have been the catalyst for all of this. There's no reason to assume that it's any normal poison or disease. It wasn't with Braun.
If it had been just a simple disease, I'm sure, the brothers at the temple would have been able to handle it. There's probably some kind of retribution from either Novin or in proxy, Torridan.
And has anybody mentioned anything about Novin-looking people?
No, like asking like the taverns and townspeople and things of that nature. Nobody recognized Novin. But, fun fact that I kind of forgot to mention that I guess would be wrapped up in this investigation persuasion event. There is now the yellow-eyed man is almost common knowledge. The story and tales and rumors and whatnot coming from Kraylin and the event there and Braun's funeral, especially with the people waiting to get into Kraylin, are now very deftly familiar with the yellow-eyed man and the villainous ways and the terrorists that go around doing his bidding. So Novin would not ring any bells, but if you kind of, again, pry down that particular road, you would see that the knowledge of at least the rumor of the yellow-eyed man is a lot more commonplace.
Okay, so nobody really knows what he looks like. They just know, or like they don't know his actual name, but they know what he looks like.
I mean, you would get like, oh, the yellow-eyed man, the one with the hook for a hand that shifts in the shadows and steals our, like, there's various ideas of who he is, but at least everyone knows, like, the yellow-eyed man, bad boy, that kind of thing.
A hash-slinging slasher type
Yeah,
stuff.
the hash-slinging slasher.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so nobody's seen a guy with an eye patch, red hair. Okay.
So, this is also kind of a side note. I'm imagining with your new fame that traveling with Yuanjo and Abilene, you could kind of shirk around here and there. If anyone kind of asks you who they are or why they're here, give you a little bit of gruff, you can just kind of go, with the Golden Hearts, deal with it. But is there any particular thing happening with those two?
Now that we're in Giles, I would probably let Abilene know that we're headed to the capital and we can bully our way through the boondocks, but by the time we get to Freeside City, they should probably have found another route north.
So, whenever you're having this discussion with him, Abilene would get a kind of sly look on his face, be like, from what I've heard, it sounds like there's a lot of food in Kraylin.
Depending on what you consider to be food, I'm sure. Like any large city, there would be more than you could ever eat.
You should know, tainted meat does not sit well in the belly. Filthy creature.
Abilene is very smart. Abilene has understood that only you juicy humans are infected with this tainted meat. So if Abilene or Yuanjo eats the new food, they'll be fine.
I mean, if you're willing to bet on it. But I don't think they'll let you into Kraylin.
Abilene can get in anywhere.
I mean, you might be able to, but I don't know about pointing up to Yuanjo.
Is anyone going to attempt to persuade Abilene and Yuanjo away from this goal?
I'm not.
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Abilene. Might
Yes.
have a word with you.
Of course.
Up here. Stick my hand out and let him.
Mm-hmm. Kind of readjust his thimble a little bit as he jumps into your palm.
So I have him sitting on my hand here in front of me. Look, you're quite charismatic for a talking rat, mouse, rat. What are you?
Rodent.
Rodent. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend. I assume that you have no problem amongst your kind eating other rodents. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
So nobody would look down on you for eating another dead rodent.
Yes.
They would.
They would not.
They would not. And
They're kind of chewy.
Yes, and I've eaten them before, and they're delicious. But humans are different in this matter, and they don't take well to other people things eating them even when they're dead. If they were to find you in Kraylin eating this tasty meat, as I'm sure you'd find it, they would have an issue with that, and you might really want to avoid that.
You humans like other humans, right?
We like them, yes, but eat them, generally not.
Do you like the humans in this city?
Them seem quite companionable. Yes?
Yuanjo and Abilene will make a deal. I will save the humans that are still alive, but I will eat the ones that are dead, and then I shall report back.
Okay, all right. Look, I like your deal, and saving alive humans is a wonderful thing, and please do that. Look, if you're going to eat any of the dead ones, try to do it so that nobody sees you, okay?
I think we have a deal.
And for God's sake, don't tell anybody else that that's what you intend to do.
Abilene is simply here to save the city.
You're here to save the city. And look, we'll have a code. If you're eating cheese... You see what I'm saying?
Yes, cheese, very good on human.
Yes. Quite tasty, huh?
I am amending our deal. If you find the leg, Yuanjo gets to destroy it.
Sure, if we find the leg. Is this okay with everyone? Valoran? Jarek?
I'm baffled and speechless.
Then yes, Yuanjo can destroy the leg if we find it. He finds it.
Good arrangement. Well, we shall leave then. All right. So one night as you guys are camping near Kraylin, Yuanjo and Abilene would depart towards Kraylin.
Strange little... What is he, a rat? It's a rat, right?
He's someone else's problem.
Indeed. Has anyone ever found it curious that there was a talking rat that we traveled with? Is this normal?
No more than a talking lizard man.
Or a tongueless lizard man.
Thor's got it right. He didn't say much of anything. Huh? Like I said, you guys were not boring.
Jarek, are you still sending messages to Novin every night?
Yes, I have 3 messages to send. One to Hulaski, one to Croak, and one to Novin each night. Different messages, though, of course.
And they can reply to that, right?
That is an option.
What have you been sending to Novin?
Oh, yes. Novin the Unworthy, you have been unwanted since birth. You are the lowest, the least of the runts in a litter. You are forever inadequate.
Is that changed at all, or is that just repeated every night?
No. I'm going for psychological warfare on this one, because his name is Happiness.
Okay. So one night as you're going through your routine, however you send these messages out or whatever order you do them in, and up until this point, over the literal 2 weeks that you've been potentially doing this, you have never gotten a reply from Novin, or who you hope is Novin. Again, trying to come to terms with there being multiple Novins and not sure which one you're reaching out to and just kind of guessing. Tonight, you are surprised to get a response. So as you are sat there, there's a few seconds after your message before his comes back to you, and it simply goes, "Now the world knows. that the Dark Prince has returned, and watch the humans squabble. Squabble.
I'm gonna have to reply to that another night.
Okay.
But I'll update the team. And guys, just to let you know, I've been shit talking Novin every night. He finally replied.
Wait. You've
What?
been conversing with Novin every night.
Well, I've been talking or sending at him.
Why would you do that?
Oh, well, I just kind of throw my message in the air and it travels through the ether and...
But not how, why? He's
to throw him off his game. What?
Man, and you're toying with him.
Well, I mean,
Please.
my hope is it will affect him later.
Don't think it would. I'm sorry to say, Jarek, you've got many fine qualities, but inspiring fear in anybody is not one of them.
Please stop doing that today.
Well, I just thought y'all should know he's taking credit for the disease. Not retaliating to my messages with the disease, just taking credit.
But that's one of the reasons why you're going to stop making magical connections with Novin every day.
Who knows how he can use that connection? Jarek, have you thought of that?
Well, it's not like it's a big connection. It's just a little bit of...
You're an expert now. You've been a magician all your life.
I've done a lot of things
Because
recently.
I believe he has been. And who knows how he's using you? Blimey. Sorry.
Updating the team.
Appropriately admonished. Jarek just goes back to eating his soup.
All right. So for the last trek between Kraylin and Corell, is there anything that the party is pursuing?
Oh, I'm still interrogating Buffy.
Okay. Give me another
this
insight.
whole time, every night, same time. We round ourselves. I don't care who's around. An insight, you said?
Yeah. Okay. So each time you have done this over the multiple days of travel and setting aside the time to do this over and over and over again, each time when you say kill him, like what does that mean? Who is it pointed towards? What does it mean? What do the numbers mean, Buffy? Each time he just simply presses his head into your hand, like kind of like an affectionate, like a dog trying to get it to pet you. But this time, it seems there's a strange feeling you kind of have in your gut that when you're like, kill him, who is it towards? And then Buffy puts his head in your hand. It has something to do with Buffy.
Like it wants me to kill the bear? Okay. Well, I guess if that event occurred, I'd be like, kill you? Well, that's not very helpful either. Because I can't kill you now. Just find me in the middle of the mountains for me to kill you? Seems useless. Well, I guess I'll try my tingle powers.
Give me a wisdom check.
Always.
And then, Valorant, you have not disclosed any information to him, correct?
No.
Okay. So the night after this insight, this small connection with Buffy, and hopefully more knowledge, but who can tell at this point, as you are laying down, resting for the evening, and you eventually find yourself succumbing to sleep, you hear that chant, that murmuring words in Giant that you had seen in the Crown of Memories, that kill him, just over and over and over in your sleep. Eventually it does fade away near the morning when you do rise again, but you distinctly remember it as you wake up.
Nice. Still not helpful. I guess I will carry on.
Is this like the morning after our conversation with Jarek, or is this days later? Or
Yeah, you can certainly plant it there.
All right. I'm gonna sort of assemble Thor and Jarek, if they are available.
Yep. Just watch me frustrated walking around Buffy.
Thor, I have been thinking.
Go on.
This vision of yours that you described, the scrawlings that you drew.
Do you need to see them again?
No.
Okay. So still have them.
It occurred to me that there were rumors of a guardian spirit of the wilds that have something in common with what you describe.
So there's a guardian spirit that looks like the person that is following Buffy.
I don't know any more than you, really. Just tales of something called Nakarada.
Is there like a mind opening?
So it's Thor, Jarek, and Valorant right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of you give me a history check. I believe. Oh. All
Damn.
right. Okay.
3 20s in a row.
3 net toys in a row.
Okay. Valorant, as you are tossing the ball back and forth with your intellectual companion, more nuggets of knowledge begin to shake loose in your mind, having been obscured by the vast amounts of knowledge you've been assaulted with during your travels with this group. Thinking back to the general knowledge you have of the great entrance and the rumors and the songs and the tales and the stories that all surround that event, there is a particular verse in like an old song that you would only really hear when you're traveling around outside of folk that refers to Chevlar the Chosen, right? Or Chevlin the Chosen, the one that actually sealed the great entrance and started the Chevlars, and, very famous man. There is rumors of him falling in love with the wild, with nature, with being enthralled with the very thing that he destroyed by slaying the great beast in the great entrance. And that during his later years in life, when he did pass away finally, there were various times that he would wander off into the wilderness and then return. And that's kind of been weaved into the story of Shevlin falling in love with the guardian of the beasts. And that would be another tidbit you gain by the name Nakarada and the figure that Thor describes, and kind of connecting all that a little bit more.
Has anything else occurred to you, Thor? You remember anything further?
I mean, my nightly interrogations of Buffy haven't resulted in much. Every time I'm like, what does kill him mean? Who's this lady? He just like, every time I say like, what does kill him mean? He just puts his head in my hand. And like last night, it seemed a little more meaningful. It was like, but I'm not sure if it meant like kill Buffy, because I don't really want to kill Buffy at all. And I don't know why I would ever. And why would a being of nature want me to kill a bear? Unless Buffy's like unnatural. Because he's like,
I mean, Thor, I can dispel whatever magic is on Buffy.
I mean, do you want to try that?
I mean, it's up
Where
to you.
are we right now? Just, jeez.
I imagine this is the morning that you guys are kind of waking up and having this discussion at like a camp that you're breaking down to travel again for the day.
Yeah, we're not around anybody though, like in case.
No, not immediately. No.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure there's like no civilians around in case Buffy goes rampant and starts killing a bunch of people. Anyways, I mean, I don't care if you try. Buffy, do you care?
Buffy just kind of exists, maybe tilts his head at you a little bit.
I'll go find Decker now.
Okay.
I mean, try it, JD.
Okay. And yeah, some dispel magic cast 4th level.
Okay.
Oh,
Roll
yeah,
your
that doesn't roll.
Yeah.
Mother fudge. Why doesn't it? Plus.
Did you roll? Roll me a wisdom saving throw there, sir.
Oh god.
Oof. Jarek, describe to me how you're doing this, where Buffy is, where Thor is. Give me a general scene real quick.
So I'd imagine Jarek is kind of like kneeled down in front of Buffy, maybe like a good 5 feet away. And as he's strumming through his lute, kind of sending the resonance out into Buffy to try and cancel out Buffy's resonance. Thor, where would you be? Just off to the side of Buffy, next to him?
I would be basically between you and Buffy, so that if like anything happens, I can act quickly, because that is my job.
Okay. So Jarek, as you almost kind of casually goes through this casting of this spell, not really thinking much would come of it with all of the various opportunities you had to do this, it couldn't have been that bad. As you kind of finish the casting and feel the spell sending out, and you begin to touch like the magical essence that kind of surrounds this bear, you realize as you connect that your individual power isn't really doing anything. It doesn't seem to kind of latch on like it would with a successful attempt. But as you feel your own kind of arcane or bardic or divine energy, whatever you kind of wield in this moment, grab on to the essence surrounding the bear, you get this like burning, heating sensation in your chest. And you feel frozen in time for a moment. And it appears that the world around you freezes for a moment, as Buffy's head kind of lifts up and tilts towards you. And as the yellow eyes of the bear connect with you, they then flash to a bright, burning red. And for everybody else, Thor, as you are standing somewhat between the two, None of this is occurring. It just appears that Jarek is kind of dumbfoundedly staring at Buffy as Buffy is just laying there rather peacefully. But Jarek, as the bear stares into your eyes, you connect, your gazes lock. It appears that Buffy is getting closer to you, his body kind of floating wider and wider into your vision as his face begins to take up the entire angle of your view. And right as you would imagine his nose would like press against your own, this thick, pungent smell of wet fur and nature and flowers and rotting bark kind of assaults your nose before this like intense buzzing begins to build in your ear, and it rapidly grows louder and louder before there's actual pain. You fear that your eardrums are going to burst as this begins to just pound into your mind. And right as you're like afraid for your life for a split second, if you weren't already, the vision just snaps. You're placed back into the normal view that you were in. Buffy's far away from you. Thor's just kind of looking at you a little bit curious. And you feel two warm streams of blood begin to descend from the pupil or the corners of your eye. And you take 14 psychic damage, sir.
Oh my gosh, JD, are you okay? What just happened?
It's not a fucking bear. It's not a fucking bear. Jarek freaks out a little bit and kind of, falls backward, scrambles away.
I'll kind of just like put myself between the bear and JD. Is Buffy like moving at all?
Once like there's some commotion and Jarek like scrambles away, he might like casually look in his direction, just like make sure nothing's happening. But Buffy seems to just be kind of chilling.
Okay. Then I'll just like hold my hand back towards Buffy, like, between, and then JD is on this side of me. Just to put a barrier between the two. What just happened? What did you see?
I connected with something. And then Buffy's eyes turned red. And there was this intense pressure and this vibration within me.
Like
It's gonna kill me.
like a ring?
A ring?
Yeah, like a noise, like it's like a ring or just like a buzz, like a monotone buzz.
It cascaded. Hard to explain, but I could feel it tearing at my mind.
Was his buzz the same as my buzz was? Like if I describe it to him?
Close enough.
Okay.
I imagine you and Jarek just sitting there going, no, bzzz, no, like, bzzz.
Look, whatever's around Buffy is beyond my abilities. I'm not going to try that again. I assume it would be acceptable at this point to like start having a nosebleed as well.
Sure, yeah.
I can't go through that again.
Okay. No, that's fine. You don't have to. I don't want you to die, just to try to de-magic a bear. None of us can identify Buffy, right? You know how like Rolly used to be like, oh, this is a blah blah blah.
Well, I tried that once, Thor. Don't you remember? That's how we got the...
Oh, right. That's how we got that stuff. Do you
Valor,
still have that? Though I thought you lost things because
I
lost things.
am still capable enough, but no, not for that.
Try it again.
Thor, didn't you hear me the first time? No.
What? But it's not. We're not dispelling him. We're just detecting him.
Take the telescope. I want nothing to do with Buffy.
Okay, suit yourself.
So the telescope doesn't identify; it just detects magic.
Yeah.
Just for clarification, yeah. But I mean, you look at Buffy. Yes, there would be a magical aura surrounding him, but it doesn't pertain to one type of magic or a school of magic, or it's divine or arcane or whatever power it pulls from. It's just this like ambiguous flowing energy kind of shimmering across his figure.
Well, I already knew it was magical. No, I need to... Okay. Oh. Never mind then.
So Decker and Valoran.
That it wasn't. I didn't have anything planned. I'm imagining that sometime after this is already over, Valoran is leading Decker back, and he's like, they're going to do an experiment on Thor's Mystic Bear, and I thought we might have to intervene. And what happened here?
He tried it.
Help me out here.
Your nose is bleeding. Did you guys get in a squabble?
No, he tried to dispel my bear's magic, and
And you punched him for it?
no, I didn't punch him for it. That happened. I just watched the whole thing. Buffy was just laying there, and he had this he had this normal face of fear on, and he just started bleeding from his eyes, and then his nose. He said he saw something.
Red eyes, demonic red eyes.
On the
Maybe
bear?
not demonic, I don't know, but it was awful.
Was
Weren't
it
the woman's eyes in Thor's vision red?
Yes. What if Buffy is the woman?
Then kill it.
What?
Thor, I'm not going to pretend to have any clue about any of this. But the next time you interrogate your bear at night after the rest of us have gone to sleep, just see what its reaction is if you hold your weapon aloft.
Yeah, I was gonna do that. But I was kind of afraid Buffy would just fall on it and basically kill themselves, and then I'd have another... Well... Yeah. I can try it, though. I'll try it after my interrogation.
I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. This is... we have to go.
It was worth a shot. Well, come on, Buffy. We ride.
So any last stops or comments or conversations before Corel?
Did we get a message back from the corral? Because didn't JD send a message, right?
Yes, but he didn't really ask anything, right? Yeah.
No, but I'm just wondering if we got anything back.
Me and Jarek haven't gone over this, but I imagine you and Croak, bounce back and forth rather regularly. I imagine, give you updates and whatnot. So I imagine you would have had that, if you wanted to ask for more details about Corel if you needed to, but I can't just kind of spew it out.
Well, I mean, it's up to him. I was just making sure there wasn't a message that was new.
No. But if there's nothing else, we'll go ahead and take our 10-minute break and pick up in Corel. So, Jarek, as you begin plotting your way back towards your town, which I guess you haven't seen since the time skip, correct?
No, I dropped into Corel for a little while, and then they kind of encouraged Jarek to get out. So it's definitely been 3-4 months now.
Okay.
Because we traveled for about a month, right?
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you plot up the familiar road, and also I guess Thor, you would be rather familiar with the immediate area around Corel, kind of going back into that clearing that long ago was full of ruins and destroyed buildings and little maniacal kobolds dashing from one to the other. You are now met with the... Oh, I should move the map. My bad. Yeet, and move you guys. You are now met, at least to Jarek, with the most beautiful sight to ever grace his tired, middle-aged eyes. And it is a palisade, completely constructed around the edge of this town. And as Jarek, you are taking up the lead and leading your new group towards it, you see two small sentries kind of standing over a rudimentary gate that the road leads into. And as you are approaching, before it's clear, who each other are or how they can define who's approaching, you hear this rather dull, a little bit soft sound of like a bell being chimed like over and over again as you begin to approach.
You see, guys, this is why I wanted this.
Wanted what?
Well, one of the things I'd mentioned, we needed a wall around the town. It got destroyed previously. And with my concerns about, upcoming wars, I'm so happy to see this.
So as you grow closer and the bell eventually begins to soften, the banging of it being ceased, you see a couple more figures kind of stepping up to the top half of the palisade, peering over the top of it, and eventually, you're still a fair distance away, but you begin to hear the cries of, "It's the mayor! It's the mayor! It's Jarek! It's Jarek!" And then when you're maybe about 200 or 300 feet away from the gate, you see it open, and there are two lines of individuals kind of evenly spaced across the road. They're a little bit crooked. They're not exactly stepping in line with each other. They're varying from like very young adults to somewhat aging males. They're all dressed in what appears to be old work tunics that have been hand sewn with this strange emblem on the chest. They're wielding pitchforks and clubs and various weaponry, and in the front, very proudly, again holding this home sewn banner that has basically just been strapped to a dead tree branch. Holding it up is Dover, and as you begin to approach, this small procession begins to march out of the town towards you.
Swelling with pride, Jarek kind of just trots. It goes into a canter, I believe is what it would be called. Excited to see the people taking such pride in their positions, and he's just so proud of what he's done to get this town back on its feet.
So Jarek, as you grow closer, you begin to recognize the familiar faces of your fan club, for lack of a better term. The symbol that you can now kind of discern as you get closer, and again, it does vary rather drastically from one person to the next, appears to be a ball of flame with a strange bird kind of flying out of the top of it. Eventually, as you kind of get a closer look at Dover's banner, which seems to have the most craftsmanship put into it, you can kind of piece together its phoenixes, or a phoenix, flying out of flame. And that is the symbol they have literally plastered all over themselves.
My fellows of Corel, it brings my heart no end of joy to see you again. Well done, well done. And I would pass out, personal compliments to each of the ones that I had vaguely memorized their name. And just, reach down to shake Dover's hand and
Give me a general charisma check real quick. Is the party doing anything while this happens?
Decker's just staring in amazement at the rabble.
I'm
Okay.
gonna start. I'm actually going to follow Jarek around, detecting poison and disease for a
Okay.
little while.
Gotcha. Okay. Thor, what are you doing currently, sir?
I'm just sitting there quietly on my horse, mostly thinking about other things because this is very unsurprising, the environment that we've wandered into.
So, Jarek, as you move amongst your loyal companions, even more loyal than the Golden Hearts, and you reach down and shake hands with Dover, he kind of pulls you in closer as he leans forward, the banner kind of like rubbing against the top of your head. He doesn't quite keep track of where it's at. It's like, glorious leader, you have returned. I have so much to tell you. We have done so much every single day, diligently. I have put them into the fields. We have drilled. We have trained. We are war machines. We are ready. We are ready to serve. We are ready to kill. And now Roish Mazev will feel the fury of the Phoenix Militia.
such a good job, Dover. Such a good job. I am beyond impressed and proud. We will speak. And just a tear. One fat, giant tear just rolls down Jarek's cheek. In like parental joy. Just
So after you've kind of ingratiated yourself, Dover attempts to kind of get them all in line and turn as one to like lead you in. Some of them turn the wrong way, some of them don't quite hear him, the old people having to like cup a hand to their ear, but they eventually get put in the right direction and then begin to lead you into the town with this little like 15-man parade.
Jarek will play his own tune. Just a nice marching song to go with that.
Okay.
Kind of gesturing back at the group like, yeah.
All right. And then, so Valorant, you were just kind of following around, attempting to feel there's any illness about.
It's a spell, detect poison and disease. So within 30 feet of me, I detect poisons, poisonous creatures, and diseases.
Sweet. Okay. So as you are led into Corel, it's a nice sight. I mean, some of you haven't been here for quite some time, but there's no longer tents or like gathering of refugees or people kind of like living in lean-tos against the Great Hall. All of the main houses of the town have been reconstructed. Everyone has a home again. The palisade has been built, giving the sense of community, like a little bit of like a pocket of this town. As you walk in, the small platform that kind of extends off the Great Hall's main entrance, you would see Croak and Lorna and Holaski all kind of stood there knowing that you are arriving from the bell, kind of watching you walk into the town. Holaski kind of like daintily clutching this white handkerchief, and she's like happy crying as you make your way in.
The second we dismount, it's into her arms. Jarek goes.
Lost my dice. There it is. Yeah, she would run up to you, throw her arms around you. She is dressed more or less in like general kind of everyday attire. She hasn't been dolled up like she has been some of the times that you've arrived, but she throws her arms around you, just, oh my honeymoon, oh, and just embracing you as a hero returning from battle.
As well, she should, yes. Gesturing at the party, idea, we will have our time tonight, but I would like to introduce y'all to a new member. Decker, come meet my family.
Hello.
This is Decker Caspian, former ward of the Dukes. Decker, this is Croak, my now son-in-law.
Soon to be.
Soon to be.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
My daughter, Lorna, Lorna, and my beautiful wife, Lasky, mistress
And
of the
Lorna,
town.
is to be wed.
She just kind of nods.
Congratulations, and Lasky, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. Jarek does nothing but rave of your beauty and magnificence virtually every day.
So as you speak to Halaski, she kind of like, not quickly, but slides her hands away from Jared, kind of looking over at you and giving you a quick like once over, and seeing your general like a presence and attire, she kind of like reaches a dainty hand up towards you and goes, "Oh, it's not every day that Jarek brings home such a dashing fellow."
Well, it's not a surprise. He's on the road doing some rather important things. But it certainly is a pleasure to meet you, and I take her hand and give it a little courtly kiss and return it to her.
She'll kind of like look at you a little bit too long and then turn back to Jarek, be like, I imagine you must need a warm bath, honey, and relaxation. Tell me all about your journeys where you've been gone. Step inside.
Charming woman.
Jared, you are muted.
Valorant, Thor, yes, come. See what the people of Corel have been able to accomplish in so short of a time.
Ballard's looking around for the caravan.
Yeah,
Kind of following loosely, but looking around for them.
You would notice as you're kind of arriving into the main square of this town, kind of off to the western side of the Great Hall, you would recognize the three distinct parts of your caravan. You would see Iron Pot sat on kind of the front one, holding the reins, kind of like gives you a little curt head nod as you ride past.
He doesn't ride past. He says, "Yes, of course," and then as soon as he sees them, he goes to them.
Okay.
Just before like Valorant breaks off from everybody or anything, I would just inform him, "I like the people in your place much better than this." I see what you're saying now.
Valorant just silently, slowly nods.
So Decker and Jarek are being ushered inside, and well, Thor, what are you doing?
I'm gonna just go look for, I don't know, the Wood Boys.
Okay.
See what they're up to. And then after that, I guess go to the caravan, check up with that, and then maybe sleep in the town, maybe not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then yes, Jarek and Decker, unless Decker, you have other plans, would be ushered inside to divulge your adventures.
I would have no objection to being brought inside.
Okay.
But I'd be looking around for anything other than a married woman and a soon-to-be married woman.
Jarek's looking mighty fine.
I've got more than one daughter here, so.
Yeah, you do. So Jorna is the ugly one that is not married currently.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Valor, is there anything you're doing in particular with the caravan?
Just checking in with them, asking for a status report, what they saw on their way out of Kralin, how they came to get out of Kralin.
So just kind of discussing with mostly, I guess, Iron Pot would be your like main leader of the caravan, I guess. He would describe to you that Clifford actually sought him out and talked to him, kind of gave him a preemptive warning of the illness that was starting to spread, and then sent him out to Corel before they had gotten kind of quarantined and trapped there.
And if she's nearby, I might check in with Clara Blanc just as a somewhat learned individual, if she had any other additional insight on the disease, or probably not, but never hurts to ask.
Yeah, I mean, she'd be rather flustered that she doesn't know more, being a proud woman about all of the various medical knowledge that she wields. But yeah, she would mainly, I think the interesting thing she would describe is how strange the illness was. It doesn't present itself like a normal illness or plague that's kind of, happened throughout history. It's not like some soiled food or a particular, plague infested rat, caused this. It just seemed to spawn inside the city and then just spread. And so she is perplexed on how it came to be.
I'll share with her what I know about the affliction that Braun had, and the realization that the symptoms are very similar.
Give me a straight intelligence roll real quick. Okay, we'll circle back to that. Anything else with the caravan, sir?
No, not really.
Okay. So,
would I be there for like him asking about medical knowledge? Like, how much do I know about the people at the caravan? Like, I don't know.
I mean, you traveled with them from Valorant's home to Kraylin, so you've met them and talked to them. I imagine you know each of them. So,
yeah. And what was her name again? I'm sorry.
Clara Blanca? Yeah.
Well, yeah, you always hear Valorant call her Ms. Blanc, but you would have also had probably several conversations with her on your own by now.
Okay, Miss Blanc.
Clara, if you nasty.
Okay. Well, can I try to ask her if she knows, since she's like a medicinal person, if she, medicine, nature, does she know anything about the lady with red eyes?
So, quick side note, and Valorant, this is totally optional whether or not you want to do this. Do you want to introduce each person at this point, just so like the group is aware of them, so it doesn't have to be like a one-off thing every time?
I would have imagined that we would have done that in Kraylin before the attack.
Well, you didn't have Decker. I mean, okay. This is more of like a meta thing because
okay,
I think,
sure.
Yeah, you don't have to, but an option.
Are you talking about like in character, out of character?
Out of character, just kind of being like, here's what each person is and does, and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So the three caravan hands, Gerald Ferris. Some call him Iron Pot. Valorant does not. He's older. He's a military veteran. He keeps well groomed. He is a professional soldier. Is the vibe and the attitude and the knowledge that he has. He's human. Did I say that? He's human. Clara Blanc is a half elf. She is intelligent and quirky. If you're around her long enough to notice, she is a naturalist, a healer, herbalist, mixes ointments, picks plants, flowers, natural remedies, all that sort of business. And then lastly, there's Borg, the human simpleton, who is an animal handler. His specialty is horses, but he's also keeping up with the 4 mastiffs that the caravan also has taken on with their care and feeding.
Sweet. That way, if the players ever interact with them, we roughly kind of know who you're talking to.
And would I know the reason that we have mastiffs? Are they just like guard dogs, essentially?
Well, if you ask Valoran, then what he explains is that they are now the watch.
Okay.
When we travel with the caravan, we don't keep a watch. The mastiffs watch, and they're better at percepting anyway, and they can smell as well as see.
Cool.
Get advantage on it, as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then each of these individuals have little bonuses for the caravan, but we can discuss that at a character if need be. But, so Thor, you were asking Clara about kind of the quilt of knowledge you guys have patched together?
Yeah, basically like just asking her about the recent discoveries that I've made. I just kind of go up and be like, Ms. Blanc, I had a question for you. I'm not sure really if you'll know anything about this, but you know Buffy. She would know Buffy because Buffy would be on the road with us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure I've explained to you a little bit about Buffy, but now I had some weird visions with Buffy where I saw this girl who was floating with red hair and red eyes, and she's apparently called Naturane, something like that. Do you know anything about said lady?
So after kind of having her discussion with Valoran, which I can't remember off the top of my head, like wagon or carriage was she in charge of?
She has a covered wagon that's effectively hers for her to run her herbalism out of.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like from her attention kind of snapping away from Valoran's conversation, latching onto this new kind of puzzle mystery question being posed to her, she kind of like sits there and nods silently at your explanation, kind of glancing over at, like, I guess, yeah, Buffy would come into Corella at this point. So glancing over at Buffy, glancing over at you, glancing over at Buffy, she would just like kind of silently hop down from her seat, wander over to Buffy. You'd see her like peel his eyes open wider and start like glancing at his pupils, and then like lifting his mouth up with like to glance at his teeth. Just kind of like giving this like really blunt examination as she's like still listening to you speak. She's like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I figured.
But I would love to learn.
I mean, I can tell you what I know, like, over supper. But yeah, I still don't know exactly what's going on with Buffy. I was more concerned with, like, the lady called Naturia, Nature Lady.
I deal with the actual plants in nature, not the whimsical fairies that dance around it or whatever you're describing.
Yeah, I figured. But just had to check. I appreciate.
I will keep an eye out for you.
Okay. Yeah, let me know if you notice anything with Buffy.
I shall examine him. We shall take notes.
Alright. I have one note, but I imagine you can't read this.
Are you holding up like the scratch it? She like snatches that out of your hand. She's like, I'm going to copy this.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. And then she kind of like diligently marches towards her wagon.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's marching off. Valard says, check with Mr. Borg, Claire. Ms. Blank. You might have heard something about the legend of this guardian spirit.
He doesn't seem to be the most deep with his wealth of knowledge, but I shall check with him. Never leave any stone unturned in the pursuit of knowledge.
Well, it is within his realm of expertise.
Yes.
His only
Anyway.
realm of expertise.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, those, we will get back to those two at some point.
Okay.
Jarek and Deckers, you are inside. Anything particular you're going about?
What's the setting that we're in right now?
So the Great Hall is now a bit more established, like what previously, Decker hadn't been here, but as the party had previously been here. It was being used as like communal space, a lot of cooking and laundry washing and gatherings, and a lot of actual sleeping and housing was done in the main room. Now it is much more a simple long table with a few other, various bits of furniture kind of cast to the side that more or less acts as a giant gathering spot. There'd be a few of the townspeople kind of milling about there as the day is kind of winding down and work's kind of finishing up. But there'd be maybe about 10 or 15 people in there. There's a nice fire in the middle of the room that's heating the building, and Croak and Lorna and Halaski would be leading you in, kind of listening to whatever you had to say, especially listening to, or Halaski would be especially listening to Jarek's tale, whatever he would spin or inform her of. So that would be kind of the room you're being walked into.
An impressive town you've got, Jarek. And I'm to understand that you rebuilt it.
Well, I oversaw some of it. It is the fine people of the town themselves who really did the rebuilding. And then he'll gesture to Croak, and of course my indispensable secretariat here, and just kind of give Croak a firm and genuinely appreciative clasp on the shoulder.
Croak kind of narrows his eyes when you say his title again, but as you kind of make contact with him, he kind of, righto, boss.
Croak, have there been any concerns while I've been away?
No, I've been doing my job rather adeptly, I guess you could say, and I've been keeping you rather up to date with the most severe situations there is of the war, and we are exempt from having to volunteer any of our populace because of our size. So, more or less, we just have to not get demolished yet again. But Rojmizev is on the other side of the mountain, so I think we're rather safe here.
I noticed the palisade. It's looking wonderful.
Dover has been spirited in his endeavors to finish that particular project.
He's a relatively likable lad. Maybe you should give him a position with you.
He seems to already think that he wields some of my power. We probably should discuss that, Mayor Jarek.
Right, yes. But let's not bore the ladies with that one.
On a happier note, boss, I think Lorna and I have set a date.
I would have to recommend sooner rather than later. Just you never know when things may end, so you definitely wanted to get it done well within the next year. Just, as recommendation.
We've settled on May 1st, but we could move that up if you know something I don't.
Croak, why wait? Halaski and I, we knew each other for a month before we married. It was parents arranged it. It was delightful.
So, boss, you are telling me to marry your daughter sooner rather than later.
Thinking back to the impending countdown that is always present in Jarek's head now, Croak, life is fleeting. Find happiness where you can.
All right, then we shall expedite the process, boss. Are you all right?
Looking at his daughter, he'll just be like, "I love you dearly, baby. Just want you to be happy."
At this point, I think Hulaski would start kind of guiding you away from the conversation. Be like, "Oh, you must be so tired. They shouldn't be overwhelming you with all these things. Come now, dear," and tries to like lead you off into your room, office area thing.
He's having PTSD right now.
Mm-hmm.
Of all of his visions and the wars that he has seen and foretold.
Just wide-eyed as Hulaski's like tugging him along.
The
Like the
helicopters are flying over.
Like the little Chihuahua meme.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
You're good. But yes, so Hulaski would lead you away unless you have anything.
A ferocious and hard smash, but that's about it.
All right. So Decker, you are left alone. Is there anything you're doing in particular?
Looking around, seeing if there's anything interesting to just to discern about either the rooms I'm in or the people that are around.
I think Crow could probably strike up a conversation with you, but whether or not you want to go through that's up to you, sir.
I don't think that's particularly necessary right now.
Okay. I mean, he would more or less kind of like ask who you are, get your general layout, kind of talk about the town a little bit. Nothing too important, so.
Yeah, I would just.
So, Thor and Valoran, are you coming inside, staying in the caravan? Plans there, sirs?
If we're talking about like through the rest of the night, I have one more thing, but I want to save it for the end of the night.
Okay. I was gonna ask you for a Constitution save. That's pretty funny.
Well,
So-
if you want to save, that might give
we'll
me
take
a different...
So, Jarek is let off. Decker, you are somewhat moderately softly interrogated by Croak. Thor and Valoran, you eventually find your way into the main room of the Great Hall, or the Great Hall. After a exceptionally short period of time, Jarek comes stumbling back down the stairs, hair's a little bit messed up, but seems to be in a rather pleasant mood as he rejoins the rest of the party.
Nothing like being back home.
I don't even want to know. I don't. I don't want to know. Let's move on.
I'll explain how it works one day, Thor. Don't worry.
No. I really don't want to know that. So, what's next on our agenda? What do we need? Do we need to do anything else here, or we just sleeping here for the night and leaving?
A resupply. I think Valoran housed the stock on the wagons.
Well, it could always stand to be topped up, but I don't want to deplete Corell's resources. It is a wartime, after all.
Well, it is only the four of us. I can't imagine we'll take up too much that couldn't be spared. I mean, they've been doing so well.
7 plus animals. Don't tell me you've forgotten.
Yes, that is true. Sorry, I remember Adam, who didn't eat very much.
Okay, well,
To Adam.
so
And,
we're restocking. What else are we doing?
I have a few conversations I need to get around to. I'm, as the mayor since I won't be here for a while. Y'all might want to see if Hawthorne is in town and if he's got anything.
And is there a like some sort of postal service?
I mean, the closest thing would be like getting a message to Croak and having him handle that.
Yeah, I'd like to send a message back home
Okay.
to my parents, let them know that I'm still out, I'm well, I'm having a good time, and tell them a little bit about the people I've met, and as best as I can describe what what we've done so far. Ask them if they've got any advice.
Okay. That's certainly doable.
So, anything else we need to do? Decker writing a letter to somebody. I can't read it. It doesn't really matter. JD, go talk to somebody, I guess. I can check in with Hawthorne, see if he's around. Because I've been really meaning to talk to that man. All right, cool, good talk. Let's break. And I will. I guess I'll go find Hawthorne. See if he's awake, alive, here.
So if you go over to where his shop is, again, it's this kind of crude cart that has been kind of converted into a shop front. As you are approaching, it seems a bit more desolate than you remember. A lot of the items and sprawl that had been set out before has kind of been tucked away, and like the flaps and the doors and all of the the cart has been closed. There's a small paper sign that has seemed to be like rested on the front of it, and written on it is temporarily closed, maternity leave. And then underneath that, you see, fuck you, you little gnome, with different handwriting.
I have no idea what this says. And then I'll just set it down and all right. I'll just go back to our wagons, I guess, or find Buffy for the next night of interrogations.
So, Valoran, was there something you were waiting to do, sir?
So when people are splitting off for bed, specifically Jarek, when he heads to his quarters, I'm going to wait just a couple minutes and then follow him.
Okay.
And then just lightly knock on the door.
Is Hulaski in here?
That's what I'm asking myself, because if I'm heading to bed, I'd probably be bringing her, unless...
Is that your goal, Valoran, or are you trying to get him alone? I guess is the question.
No, I'm not trying to get him alone.
Okay, yeah, so Hulaski would be in there, potentially moderately indecent.
Well, we're just now heading to bed. It's not like she's already, like tied to the bedposts or anything.
That's why I said moderate.
But we'll casual. She's casual. I'm casual. We're all casual.
So knock on the door.
Open the door. Yeah, open the door. Valoran, yes, yeah, please. Yeah, come in.
Thank you, Jarek. So he steps inside. What's the room like? Like, is there...
So it appears that Hulaski has been interior decorating while Jarek has been gone. There's a lot of rather nice furniture and a few gray paintings or whatnot that she might have purchased off of a traveling artist. And there's some nice, silver candle holders and things of that nature kind of strewn about. She's laid back in the bed, kind of just like looking up at you. She's kind of tilt her head a little bit up. Lord Valorant, I did not think that you would come to our chamber so late. Is this anything mysterious?
Not for long. Jarek.
Yes.
Whatever. You are many things, Jarek.
Thank you.
And one of them I've come to believe, though it may have taken a while, is my friend.
I hold you in very deep regards as well.
You helped me with my family, and that means something. The world as we know it hangs in the balance. And I've been thinking unavoidably about what that means. What that means to each of us striking out from our homes. Well, there's something which I believe that you deserve, Jarek, after all the conversations, after all the weeks on the road, after listening to you describe your life. I would like to give you a gift.
We would be honored. Thank you. And Jarek will sit on the bed next to Halaski.
Halaski.
Yes.
Mrs. Dissel.
Yes.
Speak your true feelings to your husband. And a golden light fills the room. As he goes to war, tell him what is in your heart.
This is Zone of Truth.
It is, in fact.
She kind of... Oh, is it a wisdom save? Or is it just a straight...
It's a charisma save, which I will know whether or not she succeeds.
What's the DC?
16.
Yep. She fails. So, Jarek, as you feel this rather intimidating shift from Valorant, and he casts the spell that you were familiar with after watching him cast it on Hypatia not too long ago, you see Halaski kind of look a little bit confused, darting her eyes from Valorant to you to Valorant to you, and then looking a little bit scared and looks over at you like, honey bun, whoa, what's going on?
To be clear, that is a AoE effect or a singular person?
It's... let me double check.
I thought it was an area.
It's an AoE,
AoE.
but I think it's creature... Oh no, it's creatures in the spells.
Jarek, give me
area.
a charisma saving throw.
Okay, truth only.
Truth only from both of you.
Oh God, no deception available. Okay,
You can choose not to reply is the out with this, right?
Correct, and I can
Yeah.
say anything that doesn't actually break the truth, though it can be technically misleading, as long as it's not
A lie.
untrue.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dear compatriot, Lord Athelvane, has commanded truth only be spoken. I don't understand. Why, Valoran? What?
How do you feel about Jarek? He's ignoring Jarek, just looking right at Halaski.
Kind of looks over at you, Jarek, to see if you wait for an answer, or I guess kind of waiting for your response.
Valoran, this is unnecessary. I'm certain that she loves me deeply, as I have loved her for over 30 years. Halaski, what? Just tell him.
Honey bun, I have loved you dearly. That is true.
You see, Valoran. She loved
And now, today,
Today I have never been happier to see my husband return to me. A hero. Kind of looks at you deliberately as she says that.
do you love Jarek? Now, in this room, in this moment.
Jarek, how can you let him question me like this? Your wife!
Answer the question, and I will cast command.
Okay, is that a save?
It's a wisdom save of 16.
Come on, Halaski. She does succeed. Kind of grabs your shoulder, Jarek, kind of shakes you a little bit. Honey bun, you are the mayor. Tell him to leave.
Answer! I cast command again.
Natural 1.
Oh my god.
She's kind of shaking Jarek's arm, and she feels the immense pressure from Valor and kind of creeping into her mind. She looks over at you, and you see the kind of vague mask of welcoming, warmth, kind of overall kind of normal slip. And there's a little bit of anger, of like vicious malice towards you, as a little bit of like a tear begins to well in her eye, and she shoots you this nasty look, Valor, before she turns over to you, Jarek. Honey bun, our connection is deeper than love. We are bonded by our children.
Why? Why aren't you just saying you love me to the depths of your heart like I love you? It's so simple to say those words. They are, and tears are deeply welling within his eyes. They haven't quite spilled over. That is the truth. For me, what is the truth for you?
You see her kind of look at you, and like watching your eyes begin to water, you see her own cheeks begin to kind of flush red, and her own eyes beginning to tear up just a little bit. She looks down, she like covers the top of her face as she's listening to you pour your heart out, and she just begins sobbing kind of quietly, her hands kind of digging into the cloth of your shirt on your shoulder, kind of kneading like nervously into your arm. Maybe I don't love you anymore, honey bun. I don't have to love you. I want to love you. I don't love you, Jarek.
Have you been faithful?
Yes. Kind of looking over at Valor, kind of narrowing her eyes at him.
Mm-hmm.
Except for... you know.
How long did that go on? I don't even think Valor knows what she means. It's just...
Jarek does. Jarek knows.
Looks
How?
over at Jarek.
Long.
Do you want to know, Jarek? Do you really want to know? Is it going to help you sleep better at night?
And Jarek's psyche is like breaking at this point. And he's hyper focused in on that. Yeah, he's. You said it was. You said it was just a mistake. Was it just a mistake?
The mask that she had somewhat kept up during all of this, that slipped a little as Valorant kind of really pushed, vanishes as being pressured by both sides, unsure what to do, unsure the strange situation she finds herself in. She just looks up slowly, her eyes connecting with you. This heavy silence going between you two for a few moments before 3 years. Does it make you feel better?
Why didn't you just leave him?
We have children, Lord Valoran. Something you know nothing about.
Jarek loses his shit at this point. Gets off the bed, just kind of like kicks over the table, flips over the nightstand, and just kind of has a little, mental breakdown tantrum.
As this happens, Pulaski kind of locks eyes with you, Valorant, almost ignoring the mess that Jarek is making, ruining all these very nice things that she bought for them. But she looks over at you, Valorant, kind of locks eyes. Who do you think you are? Why is this any of your fucking concern?
Because Jarek is my friend. And as we go to war, he deserves the truth.
The truth isn't always what's best.
My dear, how would you know?
I have survived this long, married to a man such as Jarek, which you know intimately now, I am sure. I have raised 3 children, 3 girls that have married off to reasonably well-positioned men, and you ask me how would I know? I have survived this shitty fucking world by weaving lies and placating people above my rank. And now you want to tear it all down because of some higher fucking moral grandstanding that you think you own.
Mrs. Dissel. It has very little to do with morality. It's simply something I wanted to do.
Well, I hope your entire family ends up burning in the hells for this. And that is the truth.
I will have nothing else from you. As you see. Jarek, do you wish to ask anything else?
No. No, I do not wish it. Jarek would give Valorant a look of just repressed betrayal that he had been holding back for many a long time. And no, Valorant, you've done enough. My friend.
Valorant stops concentrating on the zone of truth and says, "Good night," and excuses himself from the bedroom.
Lord Valorant, divorce attorney at law.
Oh. Well, Jarek, what's the plan, sir?
God, if I had some time to think about this, because this is kind of an issue.
It's okay.
Really?
I have stuff I wanted to do.
Okay.
I would like to imagine that whole time that conversation was going on, Thor's outside making a ritual for speak with animals. Because, and I'm gonna try to speak to Buffy again because I haven't done that in a while.
Okay. So as we pan the camera from the emotionally traumatic scene of Jarek's bedroom out to the exterior of the building, yes, Thoris, you take the time to prepare speak with animals, having not done this in quite some time. As you finish casting it, reaching out to Buffy again, you would get that same low, consistent buzzing noise that you'd heard the first time.
Okay. And wasn't there was a point where it became clear, right? Like
there was a time.
It was a song.
You felt that you heard the song that your mother used to hum to you, or I guess the tune.
And then, I guess if I just get the buzz, I would just do my normal interrogation at this point.
Mm-hmm.
With the addition of just like at the end asking the question and just putting my sword out, seeing what Buffy does with it.
So as you put the sword down, Buffy kind of looks from you down at the weapon up to you, and instead of putting his head into your hand, he puts his head up against the sword and begins kind of like nudging it, like dragging the point of it through the dirt before it's pointing in a different direction. He kind of leaves it there, then looks up at you.
And what is it pointing at him?
No, he's like shoving it around you with his head. So he's like beside you.
Oh. Okay. So it's not like the sword is pointed at him. It's just like... Okay.
It's pointed vaguely westwards.
Oh, that's helpful. Okay. And then if I pick up the sword and like do the same thing again, basically, does he just nudge the sword?
You'd be like, start shoving it again.
In the same direction. Like, does he stop once it hits the same direction?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Cool. Can I add on the question of, do you want to go back to the cave? Or like, is the cave what you're talking about? Like, is that what you mean?
It's very slight. But as you ask that question and Buffy's like turning away from having pushed the sword around, you see him pause and he like takes his right paw and like lazily kind of swings it towards the direction that the sword is pointed and then go back to normal.
Okay. So, westward bound is where he wants to go. Got it.
So, Jarek, are you ready to finish your emotionally traumatic scene?
You're not muted. I mean, you are muted. Sorry. Go ahead.
I don't think Jarek would stay in there. But what he would do is he would leave, pull off his wedding ring as he hits the doorway, and just kind of throw it at her onto the bed. And cast heat metal on the ring itself, like midair. You know, some quip about his love was always red hot for her. How could she, you know, how dare she? And then just kind of walk out. It's not going to stay, you know, hot forever, but whatever. And he'd probably leave to go find Dover at that point. Or more for a walk, if he bumps into Dover, whatever, but more for just kind of a walk through the town. Kind of that 1,000-yard stare, dead man walking shuffle.
So as you go to leave the room and like fling the ring back towards her, she's kind of leaned into the bed, her cheeks stained with tears, kind of looking at you, this strange mix of emotions kind of crossing her own features. As you fling the ring, it kind of burns and singes itself through the air before it lands on like a thick blanket on top of the bed, begins burning its way through the fabric. She just like looks down at it and then silently looks up at you as like another tear kind of rolls down her cheek, and you leave the room. So yeah, then I guess you can go out and wander the town, whether or not any of your companions want to find you or see you or whatever, I guess is up to the party.
Well, I would be wandering around, probably have found somewhere to get a drink. So, if our paths crossed.
Oh. I do need to check on that. I still need to check with the Wood Boys.
Oh, you went and did that. I just didn't know if you had anything particular for them.
Well, I need to know progress.
On the tree chopping?
No, on the thing that we talked about at the very beginning of rebuilding the town.
Oh, yeah. That'd probably be more of a Croak thing.
Okay.
So,
Then
but
I
we
guess
can.
they'll refer me. Yeah.
Yeah. But okay,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
got that.
Yep.
But yeah. Unless Valor, I don't know if you had plans after Jerry's departure.
No, he's going to bed.
Okay. So as Valorant goes to bed and sleeps like a fucking baby, I guess, Jarek, as you're wandering around in the middle of the night, Decker kind of taking some time to yourself, you know, getting a drink with the locals, you know, having Aurora kind of fly around, you would spot Jarek looking empty, kind of wandering around the general area.
Hello, Jarek. How are you doing this fine evening?
Not even a recognition. Just that steady kind of shuffle and plod forward.
Right, I understand that the burden of rulership can be heavy, but From what I gather, you're doing a good job. The town is very nice and met many fine people and no, really, they're simple folk, but all in all, not a bad place to live if this is where you must live. So,
Young man, there are snakes within many unexpected places.
well, yes, but I guess if we're playing word games, snakes eat rats. Snakes are not a bad thing. You've got to be careful with them.
I remember being your age. It was nice. It was simple.
Well, you know what makes an old man like you young like me? Alcohol, Jarek. Well, whatever it's on your mind, let's get drunk and get rid of it.
I agree. I think that's exactly what I need tonight.
And before we get too many drinks in, you can tell me what's on your mind if you want to or not.
I think not.
All the better. Well, so we have a contest to see who pays. Or do you even pay in your own town? Does that work?
I'm not a monster. Of course I support the local economy.
Really? How quaint.
Decker and Jarek, give me a Constitution saving throw, sir. God damn. Okay. So, Decker, as you and your new open companion find a place to drink, whether it is the condition he's in or just the constitution of his general demeanor, he quickly goes off the rails, just down on one after the other, just diving headfirst into the welcoming arms of alcoholic inebriation. And about an hour or so later, he is gone, talking gibberish, wailing about this and that, snakes and love and rats and grass and whatever pours out of his mind, as you eventually lead him to the room that you have been set aside with, and you both collapse in the small, modest space that you have. All right. I guess that brings us to the morning after.
There's something I would like to do as blackout drunk Jarek.
Of course.
But I don't know if I wanted. I don't know if I want it to be a surprise to everyone or not. I'll think on that in a minute. But.
Okay. So, I guess, Valorant, how are you finding yourself in the morning after this event?
He didn't actually, he went to bed right away. Didn't actually go to sleep right away. But, just getting up and back to business. Puts himself together, goes out to the wagons, talking to the rest of the caravan about what they need. That they, getting ready for the next leg of the journey. That's it.
Thor, got anything in particular?
Sorry. I would just slept outside because I got nothing else to do. Probably
Okay.
nice out. Even if it's not, I can sleep outside. Getting up, I would say a morning prayer. Just kind of being like, I don't know, sometimes people say these. I hear them say them sometimes. Rolly used to do it. Arovaka, bless the day. Bless my sword if I need to use it. And I miss my tingle. If you can give that back somehow. Or talk to me. I don't know. Rolly never said he'd talk to anybody, but it'd be cool to talk to you.
Give me another wisdom check.
Yeah, you got it.
I love these inspired prayers.
Yeah?
So again, whether it is your own mind placing it there or genuine sensation, as you are praying, asking for a tingle, you'd feel like just the tips of your fingers get a little bit pinprickly.
Did you feel that, Buffy? Carl?
Carl's just mimicking your motion, but he can't. He's just like wiggling the end of his stub.
Yeah. Alright. Go see where the others are.
So I guess Jarek and Decker, you are the last to check in. You are muted, sir, if you are speaking.
Did we wake up in the same room?
Yes.
I guess after that save I had, I probably am feeling okay in the morning.
Yes, Jarek will not feel okay, to put it lightly.
All right. Well, I'd like to have gotten up a little earlier than him and have gone off and gotten some very hangover-friendly breakfast foods. Well, maybe a little bit of juice and some bread, something.
Okay.
Jarek, I shake him awake.
Actually, you would find him conscious with his head in the chamber pot, vomiting to the deepest parts of his upper intestines, smaller intestines. There we go. Bile and just everything that could possibly come out of him. Just.
That's right. Get it all out. Better out than in.
Yes, poison.
Poison and rats and steaks. Here, I brought you a little something. Give him the food. You might want to wait for a minute before you eat that, though.
He's definitely gonna give it a minute, a hot minute.
Okay.
Yeah, I just be a good wingman and wait for him to finish.
Okay. So after Jarek and Decker, or I guess Decker assists Jarek in recovering from their night, maybe taking about 30 minutes or so to get Jarek to some semblance of normal before leaving the room.
I think Jarek would probably hit cure wounds on himself once he kind of got the mental wits about him to try. Not that it really matters, but I'll roll it anyways. No, not a
Cure
bad
wounds
roll.
can't heal a broken heart.
That ain't bad. And then just kind of shuffle downstairs, looking miserable and dejected.
Okay. Well, Hulaski is choosing not to leave her room, so no one is aware of what has taken place. So everyone just kind of go on as normal. Croak is over at his little corner desk, kind of working away at things. Thor and
Yeah, I
Valor are outside, supposedly.
Yeah. I guess I'd be by the caravan, just waiting. I'm assuming I already talked to Croak. Like, do I still need to do that?
Yeah, we'll cover that outside.
Okay, gotcha. Then, I'll just sit there, and whenever Valorant comes out, I'll just greet him. How did you sleep?
The usual, Thor.
That's good. I did what you said, with the sword and Buffy. And, yeah, it turns out I don't think Buffy is suicidal. He keeps pointing my sword that direction, and I'll just, like, hold it out in the direction that he's pointing. And I believe that's the rough direction of the cave where I had this vision of sorts.
Well then, yet more unfinished business in our wake.
Yeah, I really want to visit friends, but I know we won't, and we don't have time, and all the normal things.
We have been summoned by the king. Even stopping here is not something I would care to explain.
Yep, like I said, normal things. People calling us somewhere time sensitive. Gotta go fast, you know.
Indeed, my friend.
But if somebody calls us somewhere after this, I think we should go. Not to there first. Even if it's time sensitive, I want to go visit friends.
A waiting list then.
Yep. It's in the quay.
You.
Is that the... Oh. Yeah. Yeah, the queue. Anyways,
where's you how to read? Am I making that
yeah,
up?
I mean, he's been kind of slacking on that. I think I have been too. You know, it's like a mutual slacking, but I still want to learn how to read.
Remind him. It may be good for both of you.
Do you want to teach me how to read? I feel like you're a better teacher.
All right, Thor. I'll try.
Okay. Because I found this note on Hawthorne's thing, and I really don't know what it says, but I went there last night, and it says this. I'll just hand it to him.
It isn't really important, I don't believe. Just
Okay,
as the shop's closed.
got it. Well, I guess I'll just...
Before we leave, ask around town, see if anyone has a children's reader that they will sell you or let you borrow.
Children's reader. Is that like a book?
It is.
Okay. I will go. I'll just sheath my sword. Come on, Buffy. Carl, we have a mission.
Give me a investigation check.
Alright.
Jarek and Decker, what are you doing currently?
Just getting ready to travel, getting and be just looking at having Aurora do one circuit of the town, just see if there's anything out of place before we leave.
Okay. So, Jarek, are you outside by the wagon now?
Yeah, Jarek has shuffled his way out there. Just kind of vacantly staring while holding his horse's bridle.
So, Valor, and I imagine you would see the fruits of your labor, if that interests you at all.
I just leave him be for right now.
Okay. Thor, I'm going to give you a stack of rudimentary, letter cards that are missing some of the letters.
Okay. I'll add that to my inventory.
Half complete alphabet cards.
Okay.
All right. But unless there's anything else in Corel or any sort of comfort conversations, is there anything else you guys want to do here before departing? I imagine that's the plan.
I forgot to do some stuff, but that's fine.
I mean, we can make it happen.
No, not now.
All right. So as the morning begins to set in, and the various townspeople of Corel who would walk by Jarek and be like, "Hello, good morning, good day, and nice to have you back," and then you depart, leaving Corel again, going down the familiar road, going past the place where you'd been set upon by bandits all that time ago, going back to traveling with your trusted friends.
Would I see that JD is like this?
Everyone give me an insight check. Except you, Jarek. Valorant would very easily tell. Thor, you can tell something's wrong, but you can't really discern the emotion. And Decker, you, after hearing Jarek blabber for a whole night, you're just like, I don't fucking care.
That's not true.
No, but that's the general mentality.
How long? Let me rephrase this. Do we get through the first day with Jarek making any kind of commentary or doing anything differently on the road?
If engaged, Jarek would be offering short answers, clipped answers, 2-3 words at most if he can, unless it requires longer explanation than just kind of a grunt and later. There'd be a lot of just kind of riding and staring off to the side. I guess it depends on what happens, but it's gonna be a little while. A little bit
Do
longer
you
than
still
a day.
send your messages to Hulaski every night?
No, God, no.
You didn't send one last night?
Gosh, can you drunk send?
Well,
Drunk sending?
Oh
It's like
no,
drunk-
is that?
No.
Oh,
yeah.
Drunk texting. Yes.
oh
Yeah.
no! Did he drunk text Novin?
You
No.
up?
No, yeah.
he
can you
messages
send
the wrong
silence?
person.
You kill this bitch.
How dare you! I loved you.
Can you send 25 words of silence? I don't know.
Just the dial tone. But anyway,
It's
yeah. So how many days of travel is Jarek muted?
How long until free sight? It's like what, 2 weeks, a week?
I think I had it roughly established at like a week and a half, like 10 days, somewhere around there.
was gonna also ask, since we're asking about free sight, would we know where Grapevine is?
Grapevine
I remember you said that was
is
north of Kralin, but is it on the way within a reasonable standard deviation?
yeah, because if you're looking at the roadways on the map, that main road leading north from Kralin, I imagine you have to go to that road and then head north, and you actually dip into Ukin, which is where Decker is from, and then over to Freeside City, unless you just trudge across the countryside, which is also an option. But as far as you are aware, Grapevine Manor is somewhere along that main stretch of the northern road between Kralin and like the little intersection of the smaller road. So that would be where you want to go.
Would I have ever like seen it?
No, it's not like on the main road, so you wouldn't have like spotted it while walking by, but you know roughly that like somewhere in that rough area is the manor. So
Okay.
So I think Valoran wants to try to hit Grapevine on the way, and not like stay there overnight or anything like that. Just here we are, knock knock, and then make up the time back on the road.
okay.
I'm okay with that. I'm actually very for that. As long as it's on the way, I don't really care. I feel like at some point I would check in with JD. Seeing as he's the most talkative of our group that's not talking.
So it'd probably be 3 days to Grapevine Manor.
Can you give me dates if you got them for just?
I don't have the exact one now because we've been kind of like doing rough traveling. But we started on the 29th, left on the 30th, a week up to here. So that puts you at January 7th, roughly. And then 3 more days over west to Grapevine Manor would put you at January 10th.
All right, thank you.
Well, yeah, so
I would check in on JD at some point. Just be like, "Hey JD, what's up? Did the red lady break you or something?"
Would that she had, Thor.
Would that she had. Okay, so it wasn't her, is what I'm getting. So what's up? What's wrong?
Thor, you go your whole life, and everything just trods along, and they come and they go, and they come and they go, and the seasons pass, and you live in this bubble, and you just exist a meaningless, worthless life. And then you take hold of what you can, and you try your best. And it's not good enough, Thor. It's never good enough. And nobody cares. And then he'll continue to kind of rant for a while, along that general. You might get like an hour of rant out of him. Never specific though. Just betrayal and then blah blah blah. Before he kind of shuts back down. Real quick, you said 10 days until free sight?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know. Okay. You're gonna get about 4 days of very depressed Jerry.
Okay.
Response to that, Thor?
I think realizing at like maybe 30 minutes in, this is just Jarek talking to pretty much himself. He would then mentally tell Carl to just plug his ears and then he would just kind of wait there until he noticed Jarek stop talking. And then, okay, well, that was a lot. Not sure what just happened or what happened before that just happened, but I am semi here for you. You need to talk about something. I'll just slowly drop back.
All right. I imagine the rest of the party would have heard Jarek's ranting. If any of you have any comments on that.
I would
I would have just found Valor and, kind of not peer to peer, but whatever is that man going on about?
I don't feel at liberty to discuss it in his place.
Well, fine, let's all have secrets and nonsensical babbling.
Caspian.
Yeah.
It's personal.
Yeah, I gather that. I'm
A family
assuming.
matter.
Yes, I'm assuming it's something with his wife. I mean, talking of betrayal and bleakness, and these are all things you tend to find in wives. Well, I haven't got one yet.
Well, then I think that you know all that you need to know.
Fair enough. Is he going to recover? He's bad enough when he's doing well.
I expected that he would.
Well, let me know if there's any way I can help. Otherwise, I'll probably just keep getting him drunk. Seems to take the edge off.
You've got a good instinct, Caspian, and well, I feel I must apologize. This is all very awkward, isn't it?
Interesting, maybe a better word, but awkward would be hanging off of a balcony naked, hanging by your fingertips, hoping you don't give out while inside you hear a man rooting around looking for you and a woman saying that there's no one there. That awkward.
My good man, I think you understand exactly.
Oh no.
What is ailing Jarek?
Shit. Yep, we'll get him drunk.
Quite.
And then 30 minutes later, Thor comes back to Valen. What did I just listen to?
Well, Thor, it's a personal family matter of Jarek's.
Okay. Is he gonna be okay? Or do I need to, do we need to have an intervention or something?
Right now, I think some time and some space and courtesy of Mr. Caspian, some alcohol. And when he's ready to... Well, when he's ready to fight these demons with us, We will meet them as we always have.
By
Disjointed.
killing them. Or fiercely interrogating them.
You do understand, Thor.
No, I don't.
Give yourself some credit. I think it'll be all right.
I hope so. Because I can't. I mean, if the king asks him a question, then he just keeps talking about, I don't know, the end of the world, life is meaningless. I mean, I think we need to hire Rolly again and just put a silent cone on him for that conversation.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, but thankfully we have a long road between now and then.
All right, well, let's just carry on then.
So, 3 days travel to Grapevine Manor. Is that the plan, boys?
You
Okay. Give me one moment, sirs.
You do get to enjoy the sounds of Jarek weeping at night. For those 4 nights.
Is this also not causing Jarek to change his mind about the Crown of Memories?
Do I still want to touch it?
You'd have to ask me. Just by the way, I have it technically.
It depends on, I think, how much Decker feeds Jarek alcohol.
I would be making it my, more or less my mission to just keep him anesthetized properly. I mean,
So, Jarek, you want to roll a con save? Anything below 15, you give in?
You know what? That's fair.
So I think after one night of this, I would also go to Clara and be like, do you have anything that will help him sleep, settle his stomach?
I'll whip something up.
Thank you. Very good.
These 4 nights, you would notice that Carl is Thor's earplugs.
So, Jarek, it is a harsh couple days. The first night, feeling the pull to indulge yourself in the Crown of Memories, thinking back to all the times that useless fucking bitch cheated on you. But after getting through the first night and then being given the ointment, or I guess having it slipped into whatever alcoholic beverage that is given to you, you find yourself tossing and turning much less during the night, finding sleep a lot easier and feeling less of a desire to torture yourself mentally. So, I guess that will be the general vibe of travel for 3 days.
Also, I guess for like an hour each night, Thor and Valorant would go through the half alphabet.
Give me both of you 3 intelligence checks.
I would actually, like, when I get to a missing letter, I would find some paper that we've got in the caravan and start replacing the cards.
Okay.
You said intelligence?
Yep. Ooh, what's okay? Thor, you are able to read words that are under 4 letters.
Okay.
Okay.
So like the, and, to,
4 or below, sorry.
You can read the
for.
word
Yeah.
shit.
And you
I
can
can-
read Thor.
I can read.
You could read things that are scrawled on the inside of latrines and privies.
There you go.
Unless it's a phone number, because those have hyphens. And
All right. So as you all adventure for 3 nights, Jarek coming to terms with the emotional trauma that's been bestowed upon him, and Thor and Valoran spending some time teaching the Goliath warrior finally how to read the words that he is faced with almost every day, and Decker keeping his thumb on the pulse of Jarek's heart to make sure it is plied with enough alcohol to keep beating. Our glorious heroes.
I do have. Is there one thing I can do? I want to have a conversation with Valorant one of these nights while we're.
Of course,
things. Sorry.
sir. No, go for it.
Interrupt narrative. It would probably be the second night, like after we kind of done this once before.
Mm-hmm.
Just like towards the tail end, Thor would be talking to Valorant, or like after a letter, and just say, Valorant, do you ever like pray?
I have prayed. I haven't exactly developed the habit, but I have done it.
Do you ever like talk to your the Tingle lady?
Tingle lady.
Yeah, okay, Arovaka, that's her name. Sorry.
Goddess is the typical word.
Yeah, well, she gives me tingles. Do you ever get finger tingles?
No, Thor, I can't say that I have. But then I approached it with rather more formality than it sounds like you have been.
Yeah, that's probably almost definitely true.
Who can say perhaps your approach is superior?
Maybe. Because if you haven't gotten a tingle and I've gotten a tingle...
I did not get a tingle, but I did get what I wanted.
And what was that? Just a power?
The death of Salamon.
Oh yeah, that. Yeah, we did get that. He practically gave it to us.
With some encouragement.
Yeah. Do you like... But she doesn't talk to you at all?
No?
I just want to know, like, what if they can talk to you? Do you know people that, like, they talk to? Because I feel like people in churches, they're like, the Earth Father talks to me, but does he actually?
Never quite had the nerve to ask, now that you mention it. They behave as if they do, and everyone sort of goes along with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, how do we know? Is it just the Earth Father asks for it, or are they asking for it?
Or you have discovered one of the great idiosyncrasies. One of the great sticking points with the churches in our nations.
I think my goal now is to try to get her to talk to me.
A worthy goal.
I just want to see what she says. What does she sound like, Weren't gods like people at some point, or have they always been gods?
Some might accuse you of blasphemy for suggesting such a thing.
Valorant, do you care to do a history check?
Do I care to fail one, you mean?
You've been rolling hot. Uh, so do you want some knowledge about the religion that might answer Thor's question? Okay.
Yeah.
So the Earth Father is, again, with the new ring being kind of a reinvented version of the Pruid, what's the word, like pantheon of gods. You kind of have secondhand knowledge of this, but you do understand the general beliefs of the religious system. But it's believed that the Earth Father is like the first being, whether it's a giant or a god or a human or just a collection of energy, whatever it was, he was the thing that brought the entire Earth into existence. He was more or less kind of the Zeus of this world. And then after establishing the various people and places and mountains and land masses, he then began to, diversify his biological portfolio and crafted the Pruid people. It is believed that they are all descended various amounts from the Earth Father, and the royal line of emperors have a direct connected lineage back to the Earth Father, him being some great grandfather of whatever emperor is currently sitting in the throne. So, Thor is saying that they were once people is subjective, I guess, at the least, whether they were people during that ancient time or they were genuinely just people that have now crafted this myth of themselves down the road, or whatever actual event has taken place. That would be roughly kind of the knowledge that you hold.
Well, Thor, the story as we are given to understand it is that the Earth Father is the creator and the progenitor of the land of us. Rovika is his daughter.
So it seems like if the stories are true, they're just gods. They're not really people. Or they
We
never
mortals
were.
have grappled with these issues for all of history, Thor. If Rovika ever speaks to you and tells you the unvarnished truth, you will be an incredibly significant religious figure.
Maybe that's my new goal. I will find the truth of gods.
Why not? We're already on one quest involving one.
It's true. Maybe 2, and I'll point to Buffy. Maybe 3. Wherever friend is.
Now that we are discussing this, and I must say I admire your unique perspective on this subject. I realize that I find this all rather comforting. I have no fear of Tordan, Thor. Do you know why?
I think I'm about to.
Because if Tordan exists, if we can hold in our hands evidence of this god, then Erovika also must exist. And the Earth Father, all of it.
That is true.
I find that reassuring, I realize.
Yeah, I never really thought of that. Do you think all the gods are just like puzzle pieces around the world that we have to put together?
By the gods, Thor, I hope not.
Me too.
Next time you feel like praying, perhaps we shall pray together.
Oh, I do every night and morning. I just figured I'd ask you because, I see holy people do it and you like glow sometimes, so I figure you're semi-holy.
Power, yes. Holy, it remains to be seen. But we'll pray together.
All right. We can start tonight.
I'll be there.
I think that is a fitting time to end the session then.